Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 20 of the Serenial podcast. It is I, Megaharv, and as always with me is Enigma. How you doing tonight?
How's it going, man? Just another Friday, another time to talk about video games.
I hear you. Have you been keeping yourself busy with certain video games as of late? What have you been up to?
Oh man, lately I've been playing. Let's see. After I finished Samurai Warriors 5, which was freaking pretty damn good, like 70 something hours, and I finally finished. I started playing. I ran through Psychonauts 1 again real quick because Part 2 just recently released about, 2 weeks ago now.
Right.
So before I bought Part 2, I wanted to give myself a refresher, so I ran through Part 1 again because I haven't played it in years, which is still a great game.
I still need to play it.
Stands at that time.
Have you had a chance to play the second one yet?
No, I'm going to be picking up Part 2. I haven't gotten around to it. Like, been busy.
I hear you.
I've also been streaming Scarlet Nexus still. Next time I stream, which is probably going to be tomorrow night, I'm going to finish Scarlet Nexus and then, move on to the next game. As of right now, I'm still, like, floating in the air as far as which one that's going to be. Gotcha. I have, like, a freaking half a dozen ones to pick from. To give it a once over real quick and see what I want to decide on.
Right.
How about you?
Me, I'm just putting the finishing touches on my hard mode playthrough of Nier Automata. I was kind of planning on having it done yesterday, but I didn't quite put it away, so Sunday I'll probably finish off everything I want to do. Then I did like a poll for what game I should play next, and Final Fantasy XIV won, but before I do that, I'm going to go through all the Mega Man games again on stream with the Guitar Hero controller and see how that goes over.
Oh dang, all the Mega Man, so Mega Man 1 through 11?
That's right.
Oh gee,
I'm just going to see how that translates for a stream.
It's gonna be crazy, man. I can't even beat the regular. I can't even beat them like regular with a regular controller. I can't imagine doing it with a freaking guitar.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
It was just kind of a random challenge that dawned up because I was crazy about Guitar Hero, so the thought just kind of occurred to me when I started uploading all the time. I ended up playing through Mega Man 3, but it was like pre-recorded with the Guitar Hero controller and a few like RPGs and stuff. But more recently, I'm now ready to do like a live stream of all of that. Hey, Michael the Lucario. So that's what I'm doing, and then once I get through Mega Man 11, I do plan to try out Final Fantasy 14. So we'll see how that goes. I guess it's like as popular as it's ever been right now. So I guess it's a good time to get into it.
Final Fantasy 14, you said?
Yes, that's right.
I never played that one. I have a friend who plays it like all the freaking time. Honestly, like every new expansion. Those are the Final Fantasy I never really bothered to play. Was the MMOs 11 and 14. But I hear good things about them though. Well, especially 14.
Like I just don't have the. Well, before I just wasn't ready to.
I'm
take the plunge, 16. But
16 looks to be freaking great.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for that whenever they want to give that to us. But that probably won't be around until I finally get a PS5, whenever that is.
Oh no, definitely. You think Final Fantasy 16 will wind up being a PlayStation 5 exclusive?
Almost definitely, yes. I'll be shocked if it's on the PS4. Just the way they seem to be jockeying the position for the 7 remake. Seems like they're pushing for that to be 5 exclusive, despite all of the, the 100 million people that have a PS4 or whatever.
Yeah, like the 5 guys that were able to get one instead, like from a scalper or something.
Right.
Oh man. No, I'm curious what they're gonna do with the rest of the Final Fantasy 7 remake, since this is one long like remake of a freaking one single game. I do wonder. The next part might wind up being a PlayStation 5 exclusive. I don't think they'll do that, but it's possible. Like, It's
Yeah,
possible.
I just
But
feel
they
like
had
they
been
will
working on it
because of
like
what
a
they did with the
while.
DLC. Because there was no reason for that to be PS5 exclusive, especially with the PS5 drought. It's not like that was going to move
Yeah,
more systems, like there's already a shortage.
exactly. You know, like because of the what was it, a shortage in what some chip? I forgot some kind of chip. I
There's like a
believe they use
worldwide
for
chip shortage
manufacturing.
right now, I guess.
I guess they use it for their CPU or GPU or
Mm,
something. I freaking forgot which, but yeah. So I guess they're having a hard time. Remember, but they're making a revision. They're going to be using different parts so they can get um so they can get out more though and like
right.
manufacture more. So that's good,
I've heard that as well.
you know.
I'm kind of intrigued to see how that'll go, because normally I'm like, okay, so first generation consoles I want nothing to do with, because there's usually issues with them. But if they're going to be releasing like a kind of modified version of a regular PS5, I'm a little hesitant on that too, because is there going to be a whole host of issues with this one? Well, I don't know if there's even been issues with the PS5 really, but like I'm always apprehensive of first generation hardware.
Any issues any issues I've had with my PlayStation 5 because I pre-ordered it, so I got one of the day one ones.
Right.
And I haven't had any issues that were not fixed already. Basically, like
Okay.
it was mostly all like software stuff, and it's
Gotcha.
I think every single issue. There was a few of them, like I mentioned when I did my review of the console as a whole back when I first got it. There
Hmm.
was like a few issues that were brought up, like the controller not charging properly and it all that stuff. But I think everything's been fixed so far, like within the first few weeks or months. So it's pretty good now. I'm just waiting for them to add more updates to the operating system as a whole. You know, like more new features and you know making things more efficient and whatnot and effective.
Gotcha. But no, I had tentatively thought, oh, I'd like to get one by the end of the year, but even still at this exact second, I only like really want to play the Intergrade DLC. Anything else I can wait. Like eventually I'll torture myself with Demon Souls. Eventually I'll want to play probably like the Spider-Man game and a few other things that I'm sure I'm not even thinking of. The Ratchet and Clank game I'd want to play. Like there's a handful of stuff that if I had a PS5, I would play it. But
Oh yeah, exactly.
like I have enough of a backlog now that I don't really need it now. I just I just don't want to buy a system just for like the 7 remake DLC. It's hard to justify that.
But yeah, of course.
But if they were like,
I
"Hey,
still
Final
didn't.
Fantasy 16's coming out soon," or like part 2 of the remake, then I'd be like, "Okay, I need to cut this out and get one."
Oh, definitely. I mean, I still didn't get the. I still have a few things to get, like the PS5 Final Fantasy, that DLC for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part One. I
Mhm.
still didn't even get it. Like I was so preoccupied with like other games or working on other stuff that it
Right.
kind of just like, and then like 3 months went by. You know, at this point, I'm like,
I
well,
hear
maybe
you.
it'll be on sale, but I'm like, kind of like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I doubt it's going to be on sale. I probably should just get it, but then I'm gonna like, oh well, I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes games go on sale right after I buy them, and I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, why?
I
Why
mean,
didn't I
at
just
this
wait a little
point, you
longer?
could always just wait for Black Friday, and if they're like, "Oh, it's like $10 instead of 20 or whatever," then it's like, well, maybe just grab it. But,
Yeah, I recently bought the PS5 director's update or director's cut rather for Ghost of Tsushima.
okay.
You know, the director's cut includes like the DLC is the DLC also for like Iki Island, I believe it's
Mhm.
called, which is like a smaller island they added on to Tsushima, the main island.
Right.
You know, with like the new story involving that. This takes
Yep.
place after the main game and everything. You know, I've already bought it, updated it, downloaded it and everything. I just haven't gotten around to playing it. But
Right.
you know, I've been hearing good things about it so far, like freaking great reviews. So I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, getting through it and whatnot. You know?
Yeah.
So but the thing is with that, if you were just upgrading from the PS4 version to the director's cut, it's $20, which includes the DLC and all the updates and improvements that they've made to the game as well.
Mhm.
But if you want the PS5 version, you have to pay $30 instead. And I'm like,
I've
what is
heard
with
that.
this extra $10? What is with this extra $10 thing? Just because I have a PS5, you know?
It's a money
Now the
grab.
PS5 version
Period.
does look PS5 version looks like a little bit better,
Sure.
and it has like basically now instant like fast travel. Like it was
Okay.
pretty fast before, but now it's like, and I'm just like, whew. Playing a PS fast travel is beautiful. Even like just like when they played Spider-Man on the PS5, it's like it's amazing.
I'm sure
so
those
glad
load
they're
times.
finally.
I've heard nothing but good things about the load times to the PS5. That's going to spoil me some hard. If I ever play a retro PS anything again,
Oh man,
I'll go insane
seriously,
waiting for the loading screens. Even with like kind of
it's freaking nuts.
halfway newish stuff. Excuse me.
Yeah, seriously, it's a lot. It's a freaking lot to say the least. But speaking of freaking PS4 to PS5, oh man, what was it? Thursday?
I think so.
Thursday
They had
after-
the PlayStation showcase.
The PlayStation released a showcase for their new and upcoming, like mostly all PlayStation 5 games. Some of them are PS4 and PS5, but it was mostly centered around like different PS5 games that were coming out within the next year or two.
Right.
And one of the games, they had about, I don't know, I was surprised. They announced maybe 8 or 9 games, probably.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they actually even announced that many. But one thing that I really was very surprised by was they made an announcement for a Wolverine game, which they have not made a Wolverine game in years. I feel like since like the PS2 days or something like that.
I want to say,
was just like, oh crap. I was taken aback, and it looks freaking beautiful. And to top it all off, it's announced that Insomniac Games is going to be behind the game.
I mean, that's a good sign.
It's like that's like a sigh of relief because they've been doing quite well between Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, and then the Spider-Man spinoff for the game in the middle, Miles Morales, and also alongside announcing Wolverine, they also announced Spider-Man 2, also by Insomniac Games. So I'm like, they're hitting home runs back to back. You know, it might take them a little while to put out games, but they definitely are not missing, and I appreciate that.
I'm willing to wait for quality games for sure.
Seriously, I mean, they also those are really that was the biggest standout. Wolverine was a surprise, and Spider-Man 2 is like the game I look forward to the most. Outside of another game that they had announced, which was, I mean, it was already announced, but now they just had like, more information added.
Yeah.
And of course, that was God of War Ragnarok, which was, I mean, everyone that's played any God of War game really, but especially the PS4 one, everyone's been waiting for this. So it was like officially revealed now, like the title is official, it's officially in the works. And the only thing they didn't show really was actual release date, not a release window, pretty much nothing. They showed like 3 minutes of like a trailer for the gameplay and cinematic characters, everything. It's just, where's that release date though, Sony? That's what we want. We want the release date. They showed that this takes place a few years later because his son Atreus is even older and bigger now and everything. So it's, and they even like hinted at or teased Thor again, because you see like the hammer of Mjolnir or whatever, and like you see lightning, and I'm just like, oh man, that's what's up. And you saw Kratos, he still has his, I think, the axe, I forgot what it was called, and he still has, I think, the Chaos Blade as well. But I'm like, oh man, it looks beautiful, just like the previous game.
Oh yeah, I still need to play.
Unfortunately,
the first PS4 one. I grabbed it, but I need it. I need to play it.
Oh man, that is
because I watched a lot of it and it looked really good.
I can't recommend that game enough. I mean, it was like my top game of the PS4 probably. The only thing is,
I believe it.
God of War Ragnarok is not going to be a PS5 exclusive, which some people were expecting it to be. They did announce that it's going to be PS4 and PS5. It's been confirmed now, I believe.
Okay.
That it's going to be on both consoles. So I guess people that can't get their hands on a PS5 yet, at least
They can do something.
at least now you can, yeah, at least now you can still play it. I
Right.
doubt it's gonna play as well, and I doubt it's gonna be fully
Right.
but it'll definitely still be playable, especially on the Pro at least,
Oh yeah.
But it begs to differ the question: what's going to be different with the PS4 version and the PS5 version for them to release it on both? Like
Right.
I am curious. Is it just going to be another case of the PS5 version? It's just looks better, and that's it. It's shinier, and I'm like, I kind of want. I mean, it's biased because I have a PS5, but I kind of want there to be a substantial difference in the two versions. Otherwise, what's the point?
I agree.
What was the point of getting this console? This is God of War is one of the system sellers on the PlayStation, I would say, and Spider-Man is now a system seller, even though they're only 2 games in. They did so well, and
Right.
You know what I mean? So hopefully it'll be worth it.
Yeah, Agent of Chaos joining and saying X-Men's Origin Wolverine was the last one on PS3 360. So yeah, that was not yesterday.
Origins. I don't think I even played that one.
I definitely didn't.
Let me see.
I know I saw it around, but didn't really question it. It is a little mind-boggling to me that they don't pump out Wolverine games like constantly because he's like such a popular X-Men character. I feel like part of it, they think that, he's kind of a package deal with the X-Men, but he does kind of do his own stuff. Like I didn't see the Logan movie, but I'm under the impression it was like an origin story type of, like the X-Men didn't really have anything to do with it. Like he's a perfectly suitable standalone character.
No, definitely. I didn't play X-Men Origins Wolverine, but I did see like the movie, I believe, if that was the first one where he was like fighting his brother or whatever, I believe. Sabretooth,
yeah.
But I didn't see the one after that. The one after that, he fought like Deadpool or something, right?
Yes.
I think.
I didn't know it was Deadpool at the time. One of them he did fight Deadpool.
Whatever the second one was, I didn't see that one. I remember that much. I only saw the first one. But yeah, speaking of which, Agent of Chaos, God of War, and Knights of the Old Republic are a big deal. Fresh ingredient. Knights of the Old Republic is a huge get.
Is it ever?
Yeah. I was actually about to. I started with Spider-Man and Wolverine because Marvel's just like the thing right now. Speaking of which, I just saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings like in theaters like a few days ago. Freaking great movie. Freaking great movie. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Marvel, to wrap it up, there was a third game that was Marvel related,
But by
and that was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That was also announced. They don't have the same voices or character models as the movies.
Right.
But hopefully the gameplay itself and story is still going to be solid, so fans of the movies and the series as a whole can go check it out. I'm anxious. I'm, waiting with anticipation to see more of the actual gameplay and to see what the story is like before I'm just going to say, oh, I'm getting it day one. Spider-Man, Wolverine, much more likely to, get them as soon as possible. Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't want it to be one of those just like, cash grab movie tie-in kind of things where it just, falls flat. I want to have
Insomniac, you're probably, I don't think they're going to phone it in, so.
Yeah, because they've been doing quite good. But the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you said it was Sony? I mean, the game,
That was Square,
behind it? Square?
Yep. But the other
ones... I'm surprised.
Like you said, the other ones are Insomniac, but that one was Square Enix.
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised.
Well, like, I know that Sony specifically owns Spider-Man. I don't know what the deal is with... Wolverine, but like if they own X-Men.
I don't think they own Wolverine. No, I don't think they. I think they only have Spider-Man. I think Marvel and Disney now own all the rest. But I don't know. This Guardians of the Galaxy game is. I really just want to see more to it. It looks like it's going to be some kind of like.
Well, it could be like a. I don't know if comparing it to Mass Effect would be accurate, but they could give it something like. with that kind of feel.
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
looks. I mean, based on what I'm reading so far, it does kind of look like it's going to be similar to that. It mentions dialogue trees,
Okay.
and whatnot, which is very Mass Effect sounding. Branching dialogue paths. Um, you know, being able to issue commands to the other characters, but it says you control Peter Quill or Star Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the team is controlled by like the AI. So yeah, and sounding very Mass Effect-ish, especially with the fact that you could consider this like a sci-fi superhero kind of game,
Mm-hmm. Which,
And
hey,
Square Enix is known for their JRPGs, so hopefully, what's gonna it's considered an action adventure. That's what they have the genre listed as.
Right.
But
if it has like
hoping
loose
the
RPG,
combat is what's going to ride on.
yeah. I'm sure it'll have some
It
loose
also
RPG
says-
elements, like a lot of stuff does these days. Which I'm all
Yeah,
for.
and with Square Enix, I mean, if they're behind it, I can't imagine it being like horrible. You know what I mean?
Worst
Like,
case
when have
scenario,
they
it'll
really?
be kind of vanilla.
Yeah,
At worst.
like it'll be like all right, it's okay, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine it just being like a horrible freaking game. They haven't really failed too much. And
Yeah.
also, this is surprising. It says the game is not going to feature any microtransactions, and they don't plan to release any DLC for the game either.
That's surprising.
That's surprising. Yeah. It says the developers are going to be forgot Eidos or Eidos?
Yes, Montreal.
Eidos. Yeah, Montreal.
Yeah.
They're the ones behind Deus Ex, that series, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is
should've
pretty
known
good.
that.
Deus Ex. I never played Deus Ex, but I heard that series is pretty yeah, I hear it's pretty damn great.
I played one of them on the PS2 and it didn't really click with me, but I think it's more of a PC game. It was like when I played Half-Life on PS2 and I'm like, what's this garbage? Or did I say Half-Life? Half-Life on PS2. It's garbage. But everyone's like, no, you need to play it on PC.
Man. Sometimes that makes the difference, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm cautious about the Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit, but that is a possible another maybe just off the showcase. And that's not even counting. I mean, I was talking most about the new releases, but also Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars game.
Yeah.
That initially released the originals from what, 2004?
It was OG Xbox. I remember that much.
2003. There we go. I knew it was right around there. But now it's getting a remake.
And I've heard great things about it for years, and I'm like, oh, I should go play it, but like, I can't be bothered. But if they're gonna remaster it, may as well just wait for that. Play that one.
It's a full blown on remake. They're gonna do everything from the ground up, so graphically it should be. Because it was originally PS2 Xbox game, whatever.
Xbox, OG Xbox.
Time is going to be a timed exclusive for PlayStation 5, it says, and then be released to other platforms later on.
Gotcha.
So I don't remember. I might have played it very briefly on like the Xbox or PC or sweet.
Now that you mention it,
I feel like definitely,
if I didn't play it, I watched someone play it for like a very short time. I don't know.
I feel like I played it very, very slightly, and I wasn't into it. But maybe that'll change with the remake. I don't know.
I don't know if this is accurate, but I remember the battle system being, not the gambits, but like the battle system being similar to Final Fantasy 12. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's just what I remember. And I like that battle system, so if it is like that, then I would be happy. But yeah, that they waited this long to remaster Knights of the Old Republic. Remake. I'm sorry, I always get those mixed up. Yeah,
definitely. That's crazy because it was original Xbox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was an original Xbox game. So almost 20, released in 2003. That's dang near 20 years now. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's going to look great, I'm sure. And hopefully they're going to add some, quality of life improvements.
They have to.
That newer Star Wars games in particular might have and whatnot for the recent generations, like maybe faster loading, and typical stuff like fixing bugs and glitches that were in the game previously. The usual stuff that they're due to make it just more up to par
Yeah.
with the current standards and whatnot.
And I'm sure if this
But
does well, they're gonna want to make a because there was I think there was a 1 and 2. I don't believe there was a 3.
yeah, there was only two, I believe. Knights of Oldbrook 1 and 2.
So if it does well, I'm sure we could expect a follow up.
Yeah, yeah, they might
I'd play. I'm
remake
interested
the
for sure.
one. That's possible. If they remake the first one and it does great, I can't imagine why they wouldn't remake the second one. I
Right.
believe that one released for the next console generation or something like that.
I forget.
I forgot which one it is I tried, but oh wait, that released also for the PS or Xbox and all that, apparently. I can't imagine it not doing well. I mean, for one, it's freaking Star
Well,
Wars.
yeah, it's Star Wars and like a cult classic Star Wars game to boot.
Yeah. When people mention Star Wars games, that is what they turn to. I mean, that's what they mention the most, you know? I mean, outside of like maybe like freaking Jedi Starfighter, I believe it's called, or maybe the freaking like racing one, perhaps. You know, of course, Battlefront as well.
Right. 2 was unfinished. I know nothing about these games. I know one. I actually do know one. Like the one thing I shouldn't know about Knights of the Old Republic, I do know. It's a massive spoiler. And like after I heard it, I'm like, well, why did I spoil this for myself? Because I figured, oh, it's like 15-year-old game. Who cares? And then I heard it, and I'm like, I wish I didn't know that. But that's like the only thing I know about the game.
The other thing they got, well, let me see. What was the other game? Oh, Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, yeah. I was so into
Gran Turismo. I
have
no interest.
But, like,
I've never played a Gran Turismo game.
I was crazy about Gran Turismo 2. I played that so much. I played 1 to a lesser extent, a little bit of 3, but then I didn't keep up with it. Well, then it was, like, PS3. I didn't have a PS3, and it was all over. But
Part 2, 2 was for the PlayStation, right? The original PlayStation, or PlayStation 2. I forgot.
If it was, there was no excuse for me not to play it. I thought it was Xbox exclusive IP.
No, wait, no. Knights of the Old Republic or Gran Turismo?
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, Gran Turismo is Sony exclusive.
No, Knights of the Old Republic.
Was it on
PS2? At this point, it's on. It's on like Android. It's on like the mobile phones. It's damn near everywhere. PC, but no, I don't think it was a PS2. No, it was Xbox, PC, and then they ported it over to like everything else, like Android phones, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
But yeah, not available on PlayStation. So I probably did play it because I did have the original Xbox. I never played it much, but I did have it though.
Gotcha. Yeah, Gran
Turismo. No, I never played a Gran Turismo game. I wasn't really into racing games too much, and when I was, it wasn't really the ones that were, you know, like Gran Turismo GT. It was more so like I used to play Mario Kart or Midnight Club and you know, Diddy Kong Racing and games, the racing games like that when we played them, where they were more so like, you know, I wasn't really into like the too realistic ones, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
I was just like, I'd rather just drive myself than when I get old enough to.
Gotcha.
You know?
No, Gran Turismo I liked, but like, I would, if I had a PS5, I might give Gran Turismo 7 a shot, but it would have to go on sale. I would not pay full price, but like, it might be fun to screw around with the series again. So I haven't played one since 3. There's also a motorcycle one called Tourist Trophy that I bought, but then I just never played it. You know, Need for Speed I used to be pretty into on the original PlayStation. Then I think it was because I played Need for Speed 3, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I forget if Hot Pursuit was a separate one, but then there was High Stakes and there was Porsche Unleashed. Porsche Unleashed I wasn't overly thrilled about. I think it was High Stakes I used to play because they had a mode in it where you could, like, if you and your buddy had a memory card, you could like race against each other, and whoever won got the loser's car. So
really?
It's like,
that's actually pretty cool.
So you could abuse that to an extent. I didn't abuse it as much as I could have
Oh
because
no,
I didn't
definitely.
have like. I had buddies who played it but weren't like bananas about it. But like if you had 2 memory cards and you just copied your file, it's like, well, we'll give you a bunch of this card for money, then I'll do it back.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, it's just,
I never
I haven't played Need for Speed like
I
ever
never
since
was into
Underground came
too
out.
much.
I just didn't play them.
Actually, Need for Speed. I don't know. I did have a Need for Speed game. I'm trying to remember which one it was though. Like, and it wasn't.
Not Underground.
Maybe it was. No, it was a long time ago because it wasn't even like mine. I got it from like my brothers when they're.
Okay.
It was like not. I don't think it was the very first one.
Might have been
I think
2.
it was. It was for the. It might have been Hot Pursuit, maybe or 2.
Okay.
Is whichever one was on the PlayStation. I don't know. One of them.
A ton
One
of
of
them
those
were.
2.
2, 3, Hot
It was
Pursuit,
one of
High
them.
Stakes, Porsche Unleashed. They were all on PlayStation 1.
Nah, I did not know they had so many. I just went
Oh, yeah.
to like the list of Need for Speed games. I did not
Ton of
know
them.
there was so many. I really didn't. Like, this is nuts. Like,
Underground is kind of
still,
like
this is a pretty big.
a rebirth for them, if I recall. I don't know if they still make them.
Wow. Yeah, so the most recent one was like 2019, apparently.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's pretty cool, but I don't know which one I had. I got it from like my brothers. Like, their PlayStation stopped working, so they gave me their games, and I was just all right. I played it maybe for a minute, but I was never really into racing games too much like that, so I kind of just put it down. But I do remember having at least one of those games. But speaking of games that's like running very long, there was a few other things announced, but this was not really new. Grand Theft Auto 5
Yeah.
remaster for the PlayStation 5. Like, when I saw that, when I was watching the showcase, I had to skip right through that because I was just like,
don't care.
Why? 8 years of Grand Theft Auto 5.
But like I didn't know this, but I heard today that I believe it was 2020 Grand Theft Auto 5 made $1 billion. So if that's the case,
$1 billion in revenue from just Grand Theft Auto 5. I believe it.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I understand why they're milking it. Like, why make a new game if they're hauling that kind of dough?
They're working on 6, but it probably won't be out for like another year or 2.
Yeah.
And that's going to wind up being the 10-year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 5. They're going to have Grand Theft Auto 6, the 10-year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 5. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
But
they come out with an anniversary edition of that too.
Right.
Like, it's nuts. But
I don't blame them.
They said it's going to have better graphics, and I don't know what else can they do now. It's been 8 years.
Nothing. Like, they can't do anything.
What else is there really doing it? It's on every freaking console except like the Switch, I think.
Yeah.
Now
might not be on a TI-83 calculator. That's about it.
Yeah, not yet. They're probably going to work on that as well.
Yeah.
And hell, the other thing that was remastered that they don't really need to was Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
They announced a whole like collection, I think, of a remastered collection of all the Uncharted games, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, and the spinoff, like Lost Legacy, like all 5. And actually, I don't know if the PS Vita one is included there, but then that would be all 6, actually. A Golden Abyss.
Should be.
But I looked at it and I was like, Uncharted. I mean, I did play through almost every single Uncharted game and beat them and everything. And I know they're quite popular. They sold well. It was just not really my thing. I honestly feel like it's just like Tomb Raider, but I prefer Tomb Raider like over it a bit.
I never really knew what Uncharted was all
about. For Uncharted fans,
I just knew it was popular.
Running around, climbing stuff, like looking for treasure and shooting people up. The combat is kind of where it lacked for me. The story was kind of interesting, but I mean that's really about it, I guess. I like history, so the fact that they're exploring like ancient ruins, like every game it's different freaking ancient ruins they're exploring down there, so it's kind of cool in that aspect. But I mean, it's more of a focus on the exploring and the puzzles rather than the combat. I mean,
Gotcha.
The shooting is kind of lackluster, I guess you could say, and the weapons and whatnot. There's
feel
not
like-
much customization and variety there.
Yeah. I feel like Tomb Raider was kind of
Especially
similar.
the
It was
first
more about the puzzle solving than the combat. It was just kind of like a necessary
Depending on
part of it. But like I haven't really
depending
played
on
much
which
Tomb Raider.
one. Some of the Tomb Raiders were, because remember they had the original ones, like, and then they had the reboot series, that trilogy. They were like slightly different in the way they like characterized Laura and the focus of the game and things of that nature. But
Gotcha.
I mean, overall, like the new Tomb Raider trilogy, I think is like better to me than the Uncharted, like 4 or 5, 6 total games I guess they have now with the 2 spinoffs.
Is that Naughty
But
Dog?
yeah, remastered for the PS5.
Uncharted?
Yes, Uncharted is not Naughty Dog.
It is, yeah, okay. I always get them and Insomniac like mixed up for some reason.
Me too. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they're not bad games. Like I never like had any problems when I was playing them. I just kind of felt myself not being as
You just weren't like
enthralled or
enamored by
captured.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, all right, this is okay. You know,
Yeah.
I finished it and I was like, it's
Give
pretty
it a
okay,
C, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but I know that it definitely captured the hearts of many PlayStation gamers because
Did
it kept getting freaking sequels and spin-offs. But yes, the PS5 is getting an Uncharted freaking whole like remastered series, you know. So, and also with that announcement, Uncharted is now coming to PC.
It hasn't been
Which
on
is-
PC this whole time.
No, it was a PlayStation exclusive. That was one of their for the PS3 and PS4 like time frame. That was like pretty much their biggest exclusive, you know.
Oh.
Because I don't think a single one. There hasn't. I don't think any of them have ever been on PC or Xbox or Nintendo. It was only PlayStation 3, PS4, the Vita, now PS5, now Windows, and I think they had a Android and iPhone version of like a spin-off game, but it was only PlayStation.
A bit
So
more
that was
sense
actually
to me, I guess.
that was the remastered version is going to be on PS5 and PC. That was kind of like the big news.
That's pretty
for
big,
the
yeah.
PC gamers, you know, to loot. I mean, for PlayStation to lose basically one of their biggest exclusives of the past 11.
Yeah.
First one came out in actually the first one came out in 2007. So yeah, it's one of the biggest exclusives in the past 15 years is the Uncharted series. Now it's going to be available on PC.
I imagine that'll do okay.
Yes, I definitely think for people that didn't want to or couldn't get a PlayStation 3, 4, or 5, they're definitely going to add a whole new layer of Uncharted fans, you know? And it already had a pretty big fan base, so that's going to be something. The only other games that were announced were actually 3 new IPs completely, I believe. Project Eve.
Yeah, I thought that looked kind of interesting.
To me, it looked like I really thought at first it looked like Bayonetta. Like I was
Me
like,
too, actually.
3?
I'm like, is this the Bayonetta? Yeah, I thought that too. Now you mention it, but it's like
Cool,
I should have
Bayonetta
known since
3.
it's on PlayStation, not Nintendo, because they bought it. But at first, I'm like, I was
like, PlayStation doesn't own Bayonetta. They lost it. They lost out.
Oh, do we have Noara in the house?
Oh man, welcome back, man. How's it going?
Good. Sorry about the wait. Our Dungeons and Dragons session went even longer than expected, but you know how it is.
Oh,
No
D&D.
worries.
Okay.
Glad to have you.
No problem, man. We're just in the middle of going over like the PlayStation 5 showcase still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were discussing Knights of the Old Republic, the Uncharted collection that came out, the what else are we talking about? The Wolverine movie. Or the Wolverine game, I mean.
Spider-Man 2. This is really one of their better showcases they've like mentioned lately, honestly. When you add up all the games and the remasters, it's looking like a freaking pretty solid lineup.
I feel like this is where they're like truly launching the PS5. Like before that, it was like, hey, here's some PS4 games that run better. Here's PS3 game again. Oh, this is the real thing this time.
Now they have like some actual exclusives, like Deathloop. They've been talking about it for the past few months. Now they released more information about it, longer trailers, more gameplay, more footage. Project Eve looks just like Bayonetta, but it looks like PlayStation's like competitor in that regard. It's a female character. similar in the style. She's doing all these kicks and flips and fighting with
very stylish
gun, sword. It looks very similar. I thought it was Bayonetta at first, but it kind of Devil May Cry-ish. That's going to be on PS4, but of course PS5 is probably going to run it much better anyway, like always, Yeah, and then
super high frame rate for those stylish action.
Oh, definitely.
Games.
Any game like that, you want a 60 FPS if you can,
Easy.
like at all possible.
Right. These days, yes. Big time.
Oh, that's like that should be the standard nowadays since that's what they're touting the PS5 and the new Xbox for being able to do, It's like 4K, 60 FPS.
Yeah. As many FPS as you can give me, because I didn't realize that FPS was like tied to like button precision. So like once I realized that, I'm like, oh, so like not only does it like run better, it like plays better.
Yeah, when you're doing combos, like I can imagine like games like this where it's a combo based like fighter or fighting or one-on-one fighting games, stuff like that, you definitely want it to be higher,
Yeah.
So you can input with precision your combinations.
That's why DMC Devil May Cry was a bit of a problem because it had to have really loose combos because it ran at 30 FPS. And why the PS3 Bayonetta port was also a problem because it would have inconsistent frame rates as well. You needed the 360 or nothing if you wanted to really ace that one. So yeah, it's like, is the PS4 going to be enough? That's going to be an interesting one. I might have to finally get a PS5 if that's the case, if it doesn't actually run properly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hey,
Actually,
Carl
speaking
Winslow.
of Project Eve, some people were comparing Project Eve to what's it called? Nier, which I still haven't played. Nier Replicant, but
I kind of could see the parallels.
No, yeah, it seems like from what I've read or watched, rather, they do look very similar, like action game with all these combos.
Yeah, it's just post-apocalyptic,
weird-looking enemies.
Yeah, Nier isn't quite a stylish action game. It's still kind of it's almost primitive. There are attack, and you can dodge and stuff like that, but you can't like blast a guy into the air, jump, hit, and then shotgun him down or anything like that. It's kind of, but at the same time, you can constantly have a magic book shoot, bullets forever. So it's doing its own thing, really.
Grimoire Vibes would be so upset with you calling him a lowly book. I just played through Nier Automata again, and like now that I have played the original Nier, it's like it kind of made me not like Automata as much because now I've like realized what I'm missing. Because like having Grimoire Vise versus like a pod, he's so full of character. Where it's like with Nier Automata, they were kind of trying to go the opposite direction with it because it's like, well, they're robots and they're not really supposed to have personality. But like this time around when I was playing it, it felt a little hollow in comparison. Still love the game. It's just different. Yeah, different tone.
They're really leaning on like 9S, and just like it's basically somebody to monologue to. Like A2 is like angry to her pod and not really having any banter, kind of thing, as opposed to Grimoire Vice, or even just having like Emil and Kaine in the party. It's a very different dynamic.
Oh,
but also you can appreciate having these characters here and there. Spoilers to wherever.
Right.
It's like, oh, they're in the game too. Whoa. Right. But I feel most people are probably like you and they're playing them backwards.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was a big treat to see this or that character kind of carry over.
Right.
Then, and it's kind of strange though, because it went from this game that it's like, but now it has this fancy remake, and now everybody knows about it. It's not my special secret game anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's starting to get the recognition it deserves. Like I didn't hear those games back then, and like especially if someone said to me, this Nier game, it's like a follow-up to the Drakengard series. If someone told me that, I would have been like, nope. Not gonna I don't like Drakengard at all. But like then I played Automata and I'm like, this game is fabulous. How is this so good? And then I played Nier Replicant, but then I also played the PS3 version. And I'm like, yeah, the fighting's a little primitive, but like music's top notch, story's top notch. Like it doesn't lean on the combat. Like it's not
there's
a
lot
part of
going
it.
on.
It's not about it.
Yeah. So yes, but any stylish action game
Yeah.
I will buy. And I've had to go backwards and get some more obscure ones that I'd missed that I'd see on like lists and things like that of this genre. Like what was it? Ascension of the Metatron, for example, another kind of obscure game, but it has like kind of the same gameplay as well. It's about like fallen angels. Just so happens they're in like cool jeans and no shirts all the time. Who's this game for? I'm not even sure. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing where it's like, oh, this is like a game that it feels like nobody has played, but somebody made it, somebody played it, and so much lore.
You hear about Forspoken?
Yeah,
that's going to be another game released for the PS5. It's going to get released. It's going to get ported over to PC as well. It's going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive for 2 years, it says, and then it's going to be on PC apparently. And I don't know about Xbox, but apparently it's developed by Luminous Productions, which is part of Square Enix. And apparently they the ones that developed Final Fantasy 15 also. Right. I'm like, whoa, okay.
I'm intrigued.
All right. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was the same like freaking developers or whatever. That looks like that's gonna be interesting. Just the fact that you could just explore this wide. It's just gonna be an open world where you could travel like pretty much anywhere whenever you want, and you like can traverse and you gotta run up walls and do all these flips. I'm like, as long as it's interesting or like it's creatively done the way you explore the open world, I don't really mind it. But if it's like as simple as you just walk from here down 50 miles that way, it's boring. But it looks like this is going to be a little bit more fun to actually travel, like Spider-Man. I don't mind traveling in Spider-Man and collecting everything because I'm like, I get the web sling. All right, that's cool.
The traversal itself is gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just jump in a car and just drive and it's just not entertaining, or if you're just walking around with nothing. Like even Ghost of Tsushima, the scenery is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like it just looks freaking amazing. So it was like, all right, this isn't too bad. I like it. And then you're driving on a horseback, which isn't like that common in games, But this Forspoken game looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that one as well, and that has a release date for spring 2022. Damn, I wish I kind of put these in order of like when they're expected to release to know like which one you can expect to get first. You know what I mean?
But then more loosey-goosey.
They do
nowadays too, which is fine.
More common like these past 2 or 3 years. It seems more common like.
Did you guys play Red Dead Redemption 2?
Makes, right? Isn't it just like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead?
Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, but also Bully and LA Noire as kind of like side.
I forgot they made Bully. I did play Bully. I never played.
They made LA Noire.
I forgot. I didn't play LA Noire. I heard it was
played it
like,
either, but
cool.
I haven't. Just from word of mouth.
I feel like. Yeah. Play it when you can, because I feel like the face technology is going to get less and less interesting as time goes on. It still looks good though, the way they captured it. It's like ahead of its time, but costs all the money, and they can't do it. But yeah, just solid games. And then just so LA Noire, I fast traveled basically. Like you have a conversation with your partner, it's interesting while you're driving, but then once the conversation's up, I'm just like skip and just go to the next crime scene or whatever. Red Dead Redemption 2, though, there is no fast travel. It is very limited. And so there's a lot of like just, looking at your horse as you go. There's like technically a mini game you can do where there's like animals to shoot and stuff, but I played like hard mode with auto targeting off. So there were a few times when I was just like, well, I can't hit any of these things. I just had to go. But then the game will throw random events at you. So that's what I like in an open type world. Like there'll be a prisoner with like his, in the old timey black and white stripe outfit, and his feet are shackled together. And so you can decide, am I going to shoot the shackles off? Am I going to shoot him? Am I going to tie him up and send him to the police station? Kind of thing. So just, and it's not a story thing. It's just, your own role playing. So I think that's a neat thing to do. So I hope that this game has that sort of thing too.
I wanted to have something that'll make it like interesting. Like, even if it's stuff like you got to collect that'll like not just be for show, but if you have to collect stuff and it actually improves the game in some way, then I don't really mind. Unless it's just a freaking trophy, then I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna walk around everywhere to get one trophy. It's a little too much, but I am looking forward to it though. I mean, especially with the PS5 enabling you to really have like instant fast travel, and they did say this game is going to have fast travel, I believe. Like that helps a lot with the actual like how long is it going to take to get to the other side of the map.
Yeah, fun part. Only the fun parts. Then none of the just crossing an endless desert for no reason.
Yeah, seriously. Like I can't do that. It takes too damn long.
It's like, I don't know, maybe make me do it once, but then after that, fast travel.
Exactly. Like I feel like that's a must in any game that has an open world, or even like any kind of semi-open world game.
Yeah.
Like you got to do it. Spider-Man, you got to do it. Borderlands, you got to do it. Freaking.
Well, I want to spend a half hour going from one of the planet to the other. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm playing No More Heroes 3 now, and it has this kind of pseudo open world, just like the first two, or like the first one, and it does have a fast travel. But the game is just not really well optimized for the Switch, which is the only thing it's on. And the loading times are a bit brutal. I'm usually not too picky about loading times, but it's just not great. Yeah. But there is a really cool animation of Travis like riding his motorcycle into like a warp tunnel when you do it. So that's kind of okay.
This is No More Heroes, you said? 3?
No More Heroes 3, yeah.
Okay.
Just came out a couple weeks ago.
Any of them.
I still haven't played any either myself. Like I heard it good though.
Yeah.
Like kind of
I feel like it's one that you wouldn't want to jump straight to 3 on. The game itself is like just references kind of thing is like a big part of the charm. Like when you fall into lava, for example, Travis will like struggle for a bit, but then he'll sink down slowly, and then he'll put his thumb up like the Terminator as he sinks into the lava. So even like the death animation's a reference to a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And just they made they talk just some like nerd talk at one point during a cutscene. They're talking about like, oh, my favorite director likes this, but he doesn't like the original sources. And then they kind of bleep it out, but they're talking about, it's like, well, who could possibly make an awesome movie without caring about the source? It's like, oh yeah, Transmorphers, like the Transformers movies. It's like, oh yeah, let's just watch it now. Okay, and then they just go, and that has nothing to do with the gameplay. The gameplay, though, it's so visceral. Sorry to sidetrack the open world part there, but as you travel through the open world, just beat up guys as you get ready to charge up for the boss fights. The boss fight's a real thing. Anytime you do a final attack against a henchman, even the opening screen says it's better to play it with the Wiimotes or with the free sticks, even though I play almost everything else with the controller. And it'll just paint a big arrow on the screen, and you just you slash like this, and it just feels so good to just decapitation type thing. So that's really what they get. It's like you do a suplex, you flip both of the controllers up, and then Travis is suplexing the guy. Then
I can get into that.
Yeah, and so same thing with
was on the Wii, right?
The Wii modes. Yeah. So it really uses the Wii controller as well. Like when you have to charge up your lightsaber, you have to like shake the thing as well. And what's the other big one that they do? Oh, in a clash, if your swords come together, then you have to spin it in order to unlock your swords too. So just those basically those 4 actions are the only motion controls it does, but it makes it feel like a really robust, visceral, I'm doing a thing without that waggle nonsense.
I see.
Oh, it was a Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah, I gotta run to the washroom. I'll be right back.
All right.
My loading.
And No More Heroes.
I didn't
No
know
More Heroes 1.
Okay.
No More Heroes 1 is on PS3, I think, as a Japanese import, but everything else Nintendo only.
Oh dang! Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It says Wii, the Switch. Okay. Well, I could play the one that's on a Switch, but that means I'd have to jump straight into the sequels then. Huh?
Well, no, they re-released the first 2 on the Switch as well in the eShop. So.
Oh, okay.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, then I might be able to pick them up. If I see them on sale or something like that, I might check them out.
Yeah,
because I have heard good things about them.
Their standard price is pretty low too, so I bet on sale they'll be $5 American kind of thing, and you should be set to go.
Okay, that's pretty cool then. Actually, I don't games on the Switch, so that would be something new to play. Almost every Wii game that was like a Wii exclusive, I haven't played it like at all. So I'm behind whenever it comes to that specific console. And mostly all Wii U games I haven't played either if they were exclusive too. So I missed out on a lot of games.
Yeah, whereas for me, it's like, okay, Switch, release some games now. Yeah, I already have that one. I already have that one. I already have that one. It does mean I get left behind, like with Smash Bros and stuff and Mario Kart. It's like, well, I borrowed Mario Kart from my pal, but yeah, I just can't bring myself to like rebuy Smash Brothers, even though it's obviously a different version, a different game, different characters. But I have so many other fighting games that, well, that'll sate me.
Oh, definitely. I feel like the one thing the Switch has, or well, Nintendo in general, is that they have exclusives that they hold on to very tightly. You know, they don't like Xbox, for example. I feel like doesn't have that many exclusives anymore. You know, or what's the other one called? Well, yeah, all the Xboxes basically. Like, what exclusives do they have besides Halo, Gears of War? I mean, what else is like really, really big and like a big series? You know, maybe not just a
like,
one-off or something like that.
Like, I think they wanted Killer Instinct to be big, but not so much, kind of thing. They probably had high hopes for Battletoads. I bet State of Decay is one of their big ones since they bought the studio for it. Yeah, I was talking about that one to you. But yeah, I think Xbox's plan is Game Pass and doing that thing where you can stream even higher end games. Like, I really want to play Microsoft Flight Simulator on my crummy old Xbox One S, because I think that's going to be a thing you can do soon. Like, you know, upselling the streaming. And it's like, oh, I don't even need a new console. Then just need better internet.
Okay. That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sticking to the PS5 for right now as far as most games I get. Occasionally, if a Switch game comes out that's exclusive and I have to get it, I'm just like, you know, like freaking what's that one coming out about to? Oh, speaking of which, next month is Metroid Dread. That's it. I gotta find out exactly what day it is. October. Oh yes, October 8th. I'm looking forward to that.
So which Metroid games have you played?
As far as Metroid goes, I've played every Metroid game except for like the first person shooters. Like I never played Metroid Prime 2 or 3 or like Other M, but I've played like freaking Metroid Samus Returns, Zero Mission, Fusion, and freaking whichever other one. I think there was another one. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, kind of hard to remember when they're not numbered.
Yeah, like that makes it confusing. Oh yeah, freaking! I might have played Super Metroid. I don't even remember. Like that was the one on NES. I feel like I played that one too.
Do you remember like the big Mode 7 graphics? Like, ooh, I've got a 2D thing, kind of zooming in and zooming out. That's the hallmark of that one with its 16 megabyte cartridge.
Super Metroid?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was the first one that was on the NES, right?
The SNES.
Wow, that one, and that was the first one in color too.
The original Metroid was in color.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Metroid 2 wasn't in color. That was on like the regular Game Boy.
Yeah.
I forgot. I never played. I did play the original Metroid because, damn, there was a game I played that came with like the original Metroid. I forgot what game it was. It might have been another Metroid game that came with it or something. Because I remember I switched over to the original Metroid and I was like, what is this? And I was like, what? This game from like 1986? Like, I played it for a few minutes and I was kind of like, no, I can't go back to playing like the original. It was just too different.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. We're talking about Metroid coming up now, Metroid Dread.
Oh, Dread. Yeah, that looks sick.
I have to get that. Like, that's the game I might actually pre-order just because I know I always get freaking Metroid games. Like, you know, there's no really. It's like Ratchet and Clank. I don't really question it.
Good.
You know, I'm like side scroller Metroid, gotta get it. Ratchet and Clank, gotta get it. All right, cool. Everything else,
I'm probably not going to get the new Metroid right off the hop. Like I just like Metroid looks cool for the most. Like the only Metroids I've played was a bit of the one on the NES, and I played about half of Super Metroid.
oh man,
So
Super
it's like-
Metroid is like probably the best.
It
the
is really
remake of
good.
it.
The reason I say I played half of it is because it was like a charity event thing I did, and another YouTuber did the other half, and we just kind of like traded
Oh,
off.
okay.
So that's why I only played half of it, but it was good what I played.
It counts
No,
as a
no.
full thing. You're getting the emotional, spiritual experience.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was good. We were trading off like when I was playing Super Metroid, the other guy was playing Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and we would just like trade off until.
See, so yeah, you are playing kind of quite differently then.
Oh,
Maybe
cool.
only spirit.
And then like a few days later, I found out that there's actually a mod that fuses Super Metroid with Link to the Past.
What?
It
That's
looks
freaking
really
weird.
interesting.
That's nuts. I don't even know how.
What perspective is it in?
It's both. Like I forget if you are Samus or are Link. I think you are Samus for the whole thing. But like sometimes you'll go into like a dungeon, but then it'll put you somewhere in the Super Metroid world. But you might find like, I don't know, a butterfly net, for example, somewhere. Like a Link to the Past item in the Super Metroid area and like vice versa. I'm kind of
That's-
interested to try it, but I kind of forgot about it, but I should give it a go.
It sounds like a labor of love, if nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Someone really was interested in both those series,
I
which
just
are
thought
two
it
of my
was-
favorite series too. So I don't
I
blame
just
them.
thought it was the damnedest thing to be like, let's make these two games one.
Yeah.
Like it
Hell,
looks cool.
freaking-
It's just
I
such-
forgot. You know what else was announced? I forgot there was
announced?
actually a few more games, but I guess that's because they were the ones that personally really didn't interest me. Look at Rainbow Six Extraction.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played a Rainbow Six game since I was like, I feel like in freaking middle school or something like
Good
that.
lord,
I
I
feel
was
like.
for the N64 for me.
I think I played one like on PS2, but yeah, apparently this is going to be I think on the PS5. I think, or
A
maybe both.
Siege-like game that's like PvP multiplayer, or is it an actual single-player game?
I think I don't know if it's going to have both, but the trailer looked okay, but it looked like it was going to be I can't even tell. Like, I'm curious.
They don't know yet. I'm like, well, we put some guns in. There's some terrorists and stuff. What kind of game would you make? I don't know. Let's just figure it out later on.
It looks like it's going to have an actual like story and whatnot, because otherwise it wouldn't be having this. It looks nuts. Like they're fighting like freaking looks like mutants and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Just like
So-
Tom Clancy always wanted.
This is a little different, but it might be all right. I haven't played Rainbow Six in so long. I don't even know if I would be into it or not. But also, freaking Alan Wake is getting a remaster for the PS5.
Alan Wake.
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I didn't. I
I've
heard enough
never
of it
played
that I'm
it.
like, oh, remake.
I
Alan
heard
Wake.
it's good. I just never played it before though.
So that's you're talking about exclusives that Xbox doesn't hold on to. So that was an Xbox exclusive, Xbox 360 game, and I still am pretty certain that if you wanted a game with the best atmosphere, then Alan Wake is still up there. I think it would
Okay.
still hold up. So as a remake, I feel like they don't have to do much to it. It does its own thing. The basic kind of gameplay loop is pretty straightforward. You're a pretty normal guy, like you're a writer, Stephen King-esque Alan Wake, and you're at this mysterious lake, and because he has writer's block, he needs to go. He finds a typewriter. He's just writing this horror story, but then it's like, well, what's happening around? I'm writing about this missing wife, but where'd my wife go? That can't be a coincidence, can it? And he goes out into the town, and then the town is really, really surreal. It's like kind of Twin Peaks-esque, like not everything is as it seems. But you go out at night, and there's like these shadows everywhere. And Alan's, he can't move very fast. He's like a, middle-aged guy. Your sprint meters like this kind of thing.
Okay.
And his kind of field of vision is just this flashlight that he has. So as the shadows get close, going through the forest and stuff, and they're like kind of teleporting and they're kind of shimmery, you need to concentrate the beam on them. Otherwise, they remain invulnerable and you cannot shoot them then. So there's just these kind of people. They talk. They're kind of whispering to you, and you're basically dashing from finicky light source to finicky light source. Up against the light of a cottage, or trying to get to the radio tower, just a street light. And so it's just these intense moments, and then you have a break and intense moments, and then just consistently. That's what it does. And then the story is legitimately good. I think, and it has full motion video in it as well, which I'm a sucker for. It's a little surreal because the European actors don't perfectly match the English dub, but I'm okay with that. They might fix that in the remake. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And that's slated out this year sometime, is it?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I'm surprised when I saw it was on PlayStation and not just Xbox.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I heard of Alan Wake. I just never played it because it seemed like one of those games that was like going to just terrify me, honestly. When I looked it up, it says psychological horror, and I'm just like, I might have to avoid that. But I did hear that it was pretty good of like a horror game and whatnot, You have to
be in the mood for it, though. You have to be ready for it. Yeah.
No, I freaking bet. But I know people are looking forward to that as well, I'm sure. It'll probably have the usual like 60 FPS, 4K, and all that, I don't know what other changes they might make since I didn't play the original. But
I'm not even.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. It's by the same. You really liked what's that? Control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's by the same people. Kind of thing. I'm pretty sure.
I heard about that. Yes, I forgot what the company is called, but I remember when I played Control that they said they also made Alan Wake, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's good. But one of the DLC things for Control had to do. It was based on Alan Wake.
Oh,
I didn't finish that one, but
I
heard
it was shared universe. So I guess I better play all Control now.
Yeah. No, definitely. Control was great.
I should know who made that. Because didn't they accidentally, wasn't there some of that content was leaked? Like you couldn't get it on. What was it? It was. There's DLC they said they couldn't release, but then it just got leaked. Or something. I can't remember now.
I have no idea. For Control or Alan Wake?
For Control.
I don't remember that, really. It's possible, but I don't know. I played Control sometime after it released. I think when I played it, it was like a PlayStation Plus game or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't remember if
it might have been after all the controversy, yeah.
Yeah. All the DLC and everything was already out, I believe.
I think
Ghostwire Tokyo. That's another game. That was, I believe, a PS5 exclusive, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's the Shinji Mikami one, right?
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 4 guy.
It's another kind of horror game, which I'm probably going to pass. I typically pass in the horror games. But I remember a friend of mine was telling me it looks quite good. And I know people are just freaking dying for this one because it's like a first-person horror kind of action game, apparently.
Okay.
So... maybe
that's pushing me to get PS5, that specific game.
Oh, yeah. PS5 and PC, it says. But I think it's going to... Okay, it says it's going to be exclusive to PS5 for a year and then go to then go to PC. Okay, I see.
Always funny, these exclusivity diagrams. It's on this and this, but not this. Or it might be here and here, but not here. Or it's here, but it doesn't have this content. So it's really not here.
Yeah, that's one thing that gets old. This is available on PS4, PS5. It'll be on PC next year, and then it might be on Xbox 3 years later, maybe. Yeah. And then it might eventually come on the Switch, and then we're gonna make a remaster, and then you're gonna have to figure all that out. Yeah. And there's gonna be DLC exclusive, and it's just remember Destiny? They had timed exclusive DLC. That was a thing.
It actually took content out of the game. Was it you that was telling me about that?
Yeah, they removed the content from, I think Destiny 2 they did it. They removed some of the planets that you could travel to because people weren't going to them often. And they wanted to, cut back on the amount of data the game takes up because it's such a freaking large size file.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't even know what it is now. I'd have to go check on my PlayStation. I still have it downloaded. But I think they did make it smaller.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they said people weren't going to this because in part 2 you can go to what, like Mars, Venus, like freaking Earth, the moon, just like a whole bunch of places. They just took out a few of them. I'm like, all right, well, it's an online game, and if you develop, I just feel like you developed all that stuff. Why take it out?
Right.
You know, leave it there.
Just
No one's
put
using
more
it.
stuff there. Have an event there or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like yeah, like add
Yeah.
something else to it, but why remove it? You know,
Right.
like give people a reason to want to go on there and do
Yeah.
like some kind of raid or something. But
Like normally we're mad about companies being like, well, you only gave us 80% of a game and you released it. Here they're like, okay, here's the full game, but now we're taking away stuff. It's like, what are you doing?
I mean,
yeah,
I kind of understand it because the
If
game
it
was
was
a big
gigantic,
file, like it's huge.
yeah.
yeah.
It was like over 100 gigabytes, I think, if you have like the whole thing. But also, Destiny 2 is technically free. Like,
Yeah.
they released the game for free after a while, and then they even released the first DLC for free, and the second one, third one. So, like the DLC is weird because you have to pay for it for the initial like certain amount of months, but afterwards they typically just wind up making that DLC free. So I'm like, if I just wait like a whole year, I can get everything for free. But by then, like, how many people are really playing it? How many people are still playing it after that year? You know,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
that's the only problem.
Strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Oh,
Now, I guess with the newer consoles, though, there is the thing, at least I think I heard, about being able to just install certain parts or that kind of thing. So I can see that being useful for that kind of game going forward. That, maybe you just don't have Mars downloaded then, and then you'll be able to get to it. Or
if they did something like that, I feel like that would be like basically the best freaking way to move forward with that. You know, honestly,
Yes.
I think that's what they should do. Because right now, there's not many games I feel like that actually make use of that. Oh, you can install parts of it. You know, like I might have like one or two where it says like, oh yeah, you can uninstall like this part, like this DLC or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, but where is all these other games that we're going to use it? Maybe it's only PS5 games, I guess, and they don't have that many out yet. Maybe that's why.
like I'm sure there's lots of games that uninstalling the cutscenes, for example, like would just make sense in terms
That
of.
would be freaking funny. Just uninstall all the cutscenes and just play the game straight through. Like no need to like even load. That'd be nuts. That would be actually cool for subsequent playthroughs of the game. Like after you beat it the first time and you just want to play it again. It's like,
Well, I
think
remember
about everything. Except
I remember when CD-ROM drives were new. I remember it was a thing where you could read cutscenes off of the disc or install to your hard drive for a lot of games. And so, of course, install to your hard drive would speed things up, but it might take up your literally all possible space on your 750 megabyte hard drive kind of thing. So then deleting, Jedi Knight 2 definitely had that feature. And so then you can just remove the cutscenes, just have them play from the disc or just skip them. And that, this is space saving technique. And I'm always surprised that the discs, developers just don't use the discs because I guess they're expecting a digital download too. But if you're digitally downloading, you probably have enough bandwidth to just have a very long loading sequence later or something.
Did you guys see this other one, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt?
I did see that.
That actually looked kind of cool. Like,
it didn't look bad, but it doesn't speak to me.
I just don't know what the hell. Like, all I saw was vampires hunting some other type of creature or something like that, and then some military guys coming in and shooting stuff. And I was like, is this gonna be some kind of just purely PvP game where you just pick a class and then just go fight? I mean, if that's the case, then I might not be that into it. But it really depends if it has more depth to it than that, But that's what it looks like right now.
Of the original Vampire role-playing game and stuff like that?
I never played the original Vampire game. That was for PS2?
So it's originally, even before that, it's actually like a Dungeons and Dragons style role-playing game. So there's this kind of deep vampire world with all these different factions and stuff. There's the Nosferatu, who are the ancient ones, and the glamour vampires and stuff like that who want to pass as humans and things like that. And then like so the original Vampire Masquerade games, it was all about how you can like make an insane amount of choices, which means the game itself was super buggy, because it couldn't handle all the things. It's like Skyrim, but like modern vampire instead. Like you can be any kind of vampire you want. If you attack humans, then the world becomes more chaotic. If you attack other vampires, then there's other penalties. Clan wars and stuff. On all these a million alliances, you have all these stats. So that's the kind of the main premise of the games. I don't actually know much about the new ones, but that's what the other ones are about. So yeah, that would kind of burn the souls of many vampire fans if it was just an action game. I would assume that's a richly story-based and like interaction type game. I'm not really sure though about the new one.
Okay, I just found out more information about it. It says it's a free battle royale type game set in the Vampire Masquerade universe.
Oh,
That's
okay. Yeah, so
Shadowrun did that too.
So it's like Fortnite, or not Fortnite. It's like what, Apex Legends, I guess you would compare it to, or something.
Wow, that's
all same
kind of unfortunate
stuff.
Yeah, people are not going to be happy about that. I don't think.
I figured it would be not a battle royale, but who knows? Maybe they'll do something interesting with it. But I don't know. Is that like genre, if you want to call it that, like played out at this point? Like, are they still? I feel like people aren't talking about them as much, but maybe they're just the buzz is done, but everyone plays them as much as they ever did.
I mean, for some people, that's just what video games are. It's like, oh, are you playing video games? Oh, yes, I do play Battle Royale. Why do you ask?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like grandma calling video games Nintendo for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, between Apex Legends, what's the other one? Fortnite, Overwatch PUBG. Is one too, kind of, right? PUBG.
Yeah.
Freaking hell, Call of Duty, even, like, and freaking whole half a dozen other ones that probably didn't even make it,
Right.
But yeah, it's still a pretty popular thing. The kids especially love it. My niece used to play Fortnite. I don't know if she still does, but she used to play Fortnite like every day. I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Playing Fortnite. I'm like, "Kids, I don't know."
Yeah, like
I just walk
like
away.
on your phone or something. It's like, is that even fun to play it like that? I don't know.
I wouldn't
Young people
imagine, but someone else gets joy from it. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
It's very popular. I feel like it's still very popular though. Even some of them didn't really make it too well. Like, like that Predator game. Didn't the Predator game come out like a few years ago?
Yeah, and it just came out on PlayStation Plus too. So they're probably trying to like put it on life support by getting free players in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another one. Wasn't it called Monster or something? I think for like the PS4. I think it was just called Monster. That was it.
No,
I'm trying to freaking, what was it called? Damn.
Halle Berry in it?
What?
No. I forgot. No. I'm still trying to find a name. I cannot for the life of me remember. All I know is that it came out and it was extremely overhyped. It came out around 2015 or 2016, and then it went nowhere, and it basically flatlined.
Out of our collective memory.
Basically, I think we all just blanked it out because it just died. I'm still trying to find a name, but I just cannot freaking remember.
It's probably not this game, but Anthem just pops into my head when you say that.
Yeah, Anthem is another one. I know
it died.
I haven't played any of them honestly because I'm just not interested in like that's kind of like genre.
Right.
But I know like a lot of them just exist.
I don't know.
But this one's gonna be free. At least it's free. That's like don't make me pay full price for a. You know what I mean?
Because I tried to play Fortnite, wasn't into it, but then I tried playing Call of Duty Warzone with some buddies. That was fun. I think if I were to play a game like that with a group, it would be fun. But to play them by myself, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna hide. I'm gonna hide until there's 2 people left, and hope that I win. Because that's just like what I would do if I was in that situation. It's like, well, I'm not going to try to kill anybody. I'm just going to hide.
Yeah.
So I do that in the game, and it's like, well, this is boring. I know I'm not playing it correctly.
You're just hiding.
But I'm just going to get my head blown off if I try to shoot someone else. But with the team, it's just it's a different dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, being able to cover each other, even just having somebody to talk to as you do nothing essentially.
Right.
And then there's other kind of Royale-esque things like Fall Guy.
Yeah.
No, what's
Yeah, Fall Guys.
is it
Fall?
called Fall Guys? The one with little
Yeah, the
potato
little jelly
guys,
bean
and you
looking
have
guys.
to all cluster around. Yeah.
I was so into that for that 1 month that everyone else was so into that. But then I just had other things that I need to get done and never went back to it. But I enjoyed it. Hey, Dudley. I was actually thinking about playing it again because I guess there's like a lot of new mini games in it. So it might be worth me revisiting it. But then sometime after that, Mario 35 came out, and I'm like, all right, so this, like, I'm addicted. Now that doesn't exist anymore, but like, I was so into Mario 35. I played it every day. I would still play it every day if it wasn't discontinued.
Oh yeah, Mario. I never got to play Mario 35 either. I heard it was good, and then
I had a blast with it.
That was the one that was like only for like a limited time, right?
Yeah, until April 1st.
Challenge type.
Yeah, where they like there's 35 you and you go through the Mario worlds. It's not like random per se. It's like everyone chooses a level and you go into the match, and depending on everyone's rank, that'll determine what levels come first and all of that. And then you just kind of keep going till the last one standing. But I had a blast with it. You had a roulette. It would cost 20 coins, but if you could get like a POW block, you could get a star, you could get a mushroom, you could get a fire flower. And like the longer you went, the faster the timer would go. But like I was super into it.
I wonder why they wouldn't keep that sort of thing coming. Like it just seems like once you build the infrastructure for it, then like might as well. It's kind of like I remember there was the game called 1 versus 100 for Xbox 360. Did you ever play that one?
No.
It was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire-esque kind of trivia game, and I just assumed it would be there forever. My friends and I would play it, and you answer enough questions, and then you get to be like the one, and then other players are seeing like you on your little me ripoff avatar thing, and it's a trivia game. It's pretty simple, but then they just took it away after a while. It's like, why? It's probably just automated. It's probably just on a server. Like, oh, okay.
And was it costing them money? Like, why else would they discontinue?
Yeah, if they have to host servers, then I could imagine that it would cost them some money for the upkeep, and they're not making the money back. That's the only reason I could think of. I mean, you have developers do all this stuff. It's not like it just magically appeared. You have to code, program, design, all that stuff. It's a lot of work. It takes months, if not longer.
Then,
it seems like a waste too. Just chuck it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's different if you made it in like 5 minutes. Then you're like, all right, cool. I didn't really invest time into it, but geez.
Like Mario 35 was still doing pretty good when it shut down. They just like it was a free. It was free, but you needed to have like the Switch Online to play it for free. So it's like it's free, but it's not free. But like I don't know how many like subscriptions that was moving, but like it was always like that with the queue time. Like it was almost immediate anytime you wanted to play a game. So like plenty of people were still playing it. I'm just hoping that come like in the next month or so they'll be like, actually now here's well, it was Mario 35 because it's the 35th anniversary, but like for lack of a better name, like if they're going to be like, well, this year we're going to have like Super Mario 2 of the same idea. Like I'd be
36.
intrigued to see that, but or 3 for that matter, but they probably won't.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see, I guess. I forget when we even heard that Mario 35 was going to be a thing. But that was October 17th.
It must have coincided with Mario Maker.
I've never actually played any of the Mario Makers. I'm familiar with it, though.
Any of them either.
I'm more familiar. Like I played more of Mega Man Maker, like the fan game one, but I didn't have a. I shouldn't say I didn't have a Switch, but like I didn't play the first Mario Maker. I think that was like Wii U. But then I got the Switch, and then just didn't get Mario Maker for what I should grab it. Like I'm sure I would have fun with it.
It's pretty fun. It still takes some doing to like find really good levels, but you just go on the Mario Maker subreddit and do it like that. But yes, but if you like making the levels in particular, and like showing your friends and stuff like
Right.
that, like you can't beat it really.
Right.
And you
Well,
kind of get to learn a little bit about game design too.
Oh yeah. And like I've never been overly interested in building the levels, but I found with Mega Man Maker, I'm sure it's the exact same with Mario Maker. You'd get the some levels that are just like, here's a screen basically. But then you'd also get like the Kaizo levels. It's finding those middle ground ones that are like, okay, there's a good challenge, but it's fun. It's not cheap. Like it's just those are hard to come by.
Yeah, and so that's why you have to get basically curated lists from Reddit and stuff like that in order to actually locate them. So there is a kind of a meta game of finding the good levels, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there is a thing that they added from Mario Maker 2 where you can get a whole world of levels,
seen
and you
that.
can kind of have that kind of consistent quality. So that's kind of what thing I'm working on in Mario Maker 2 right now. I chill out. I put on Kim's Convenience on the laptop, and then I just Mario Maker, and it's just a very relaxed time as well. And then I try to beat it, and I'm like, this part isn't fun. Why? And there's a lot of emotions going on.
Yeah. No, I should really pick that up. I don't know why I haven't.
If you're into Mario, then might as well.
I mean, like for how into Mario 35, I've always been a fan of Mario, but like I was crazy about Mario 35. It was probably because I was just good at it for some reason. I don't know why. But like I figured compared to, but like that, a lot of that would translate over to like Mario Maker. Like it's the same physics and everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what else was announced that I freaking almost completely forgot about?
What was that?
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
That
the
did not
spin-off, the Borderlands spin-off.
I thought that looked like Borderlands, but I was like, oh, it didn't seem to be. It didn't really appeal to me.
Borderlands 2 had a DLC like expansion thing where it involved like Tiny Tina, who was a character from like the initial campaign of Part 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her own DLC like revolved like around her and everything like that.
Yeah,
so now apparently this game is going to be a whole standalone game like about her, like I guess continuing from that DLC from Part 2, which is actually pretty cool.
Okay,
it's like a fantasy setting more so than like a futuristic one, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be using guns and everything like that. It's still going to be a first-person shooter, apparently.
Because I thought it would look like Borderlands, but I'm like, oh, okay, I was strong. But it's like a derivative of Borderlands.
It looks like fantasy Borderlands, really, like just a different setting instead of being on different planets and whatnot. So I'm possibly intrigued by that one as well, considering I did play Borderlands 1 and 2 and 3. I never finished yet, but I typically do like the series. So I might pick that one up too if it's like the same, the same feel style.
To it.
Yeah.
It'll probably be for PS4. I can't imagine them making a spin-off kind of game like a PS5 exclusive,
like right
off the bat.
Imagine either, but.
And the engine itself is like not exactly super robust either. Like, that's why it runs very well, which is good. But there's not a lot of like super processing, like ray tracing or whatever going on with that one.
Oh, and remember on Borderlands 3, now that they updated it for the PS5 back shortly after PS5 launched, and I didn't really get a chance to play it much, but I did test how it looks. And it looks even better than the PS4 version, and that fast travel is like instant now. That's the best thing about the PS5 is just that lack of like freaking long loading screens. Like that alone is one of the best features. It really is. I just hope they get more exclusives soon.
This is, I guess, a little off topic, but I just found out today that they're releasing, like, how River City Girls, or maybe you don't, but like River City Girls came out, I think it was like a year or two ago. Well, they're going to be releasing what they're calling River City Girls 0. It's like on December 10th, I think. It's basically the Super Famicom version of like a Super Famicom like Kunio-kun game that didn't come out here. But it's the game that they were introduced in. So like I'm gonna be grabbing that as soon as it comes out.
That's up my alley. Huh.
Oh wow.
So is it a real game that didn't come out here, or is it like
Yes.
a pretends to look like a Famicom game?
From what I understand, it's a real game that didn't come out here. It was whatever one that I forget the girl's name. Was it Masato and... But like the girls in River City Girls, it was the game that they had originally debuted in.
Okay,
It's getting an
I
actual...
thought that they were.
Pardon me?
I thought they were new in that game. I didn't realize that
Oh,
that they were from an original game. I thought it was just Kunio. That was the only carryover character.
yeah. They had well, Alex and Ryan, like Kunio and I can't remember Ryan's name, but like they're basically the main characters. But at some point, you do get to control the girls.
That's neat.
Can't
Yeah,
I remember his name? But yeah, that's coming out December 10th. I guess they're going to also be making River City Girls too, as well.
yeah, I knew about that one.
So like I'll have to get that too.
If you like that kind
I'm
of
crazy about that series.
If you like that kind of style, the Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is also good in that same kind of
Is that
style.
right?
In that game,
Oh,
in that game, you can switch it.
Bob game, really?
Yeah, and it's
didn't know
you go through the like the mall rats environment
Uh-huh.
kind of thing, and it's kind of like River City / Double Dragon
Okay.
kind
wow.
of thing.
I'll have to check that out.
Pretty slick, but it also has a mode where it has retro graphics as its regular thing, but you can also go to another menu and even dumb it down even further, and it looks like a legit NES type game.
Oh, okay.
Then with like the very limited palette and like the sprites can only be this big and there can only be this many enemy variants and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
100%
but yeah, like
look that
like
up.
one of the bosses is an air hockey guy, so he's like in full equipment on a life-size air hockey stage, and he shoots the puck at you. You have to kick the puck back, and it bounces as you'd expect an air hockey puck to go, and you beat him by scoring on him, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, just and sometimes you have to fight bouncing clown, and sometimes you have to dodge women with shopping carts and stuff like that, as one does as Jay and Silent Bob.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a hoot.
It looks
recommend.
like it's... How new is this? It looks like not like super new, but like what, 2019? I'm trying to Google it.
Yeah, I think it came out in the last.
Looks kind
I
of
remember. Yeah, I remember getting
Yeah,
it during like quarantine time
Yeah.
and not being able to play with anybody because of lockdown. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Steam says May
Explains why I
7th,
missed it.
2020.
yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. In the retro style. Okay.
$20.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
retro styles.
might have to play this sooner than later. I had no idea this existed.
There you go.
It's they slide in River City Ransom like games out of nowhere sometimes, and I try really hard to be on top of it, but then
Collect
like
them
a
all?
game will
Yeah.
because River City Girls came out, and I'm like, yeah, new River City game. Then someone's like, well, did you play the game that has? It's basically Thor from River City Ransom. I forget his Japanese name, but like 2 weeks later, they released this game. I'm like, what?
Stay Cool Kobayashi-san?
Yes.
That one?
Yes, that
Yeah.
one. And I like it. Just it's like how do I keep missing these games?
I'm not even sure where I saw these things. Maybe Reddit, maybe just randomly looking on the eShop or whatever. But yeah, it must be so hard to release something nowadays, just to get noticed. God forbid your game's actually good and not just shovelware.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I tried so hard.
Oh, you just get buried under everything.
Yeah.
It's like I have a vested interest in like River City Ransom like games. Heard nothing about this
Can't
Jay
even-
and Silent
yeah.
Bob game until just now, but thankfully, because I'll have to hunt it down. And by hunt it down, I mean I see it on Steam, and I'll probably grab it very soon.
And I got the Switch version myself.
Maybe I'll grab it on the Switch then. But yeah, there was that, and
There was only two. Actually, besides they announced a lot of games actually, because that showcase I believe was 40 some odd minutes, and I believe
Yeah,
they announced
cool.
close to 20 games. They weren't all like fully new, brand new IPs. Of course, some remakes, some remasters. all in all, like I checked, and there was like 18 different ones. There was only 2 ones I didn't mention, and that was a game called like Tachia, I believe,
I forget.
and I'm just like, I don't even know. This one looked like Dora the Explorer for like PS4. It was just very wholesome. It looked like really just freaking adorable.
Oh yes, I did see that.
You
I
remember seeing it?
now. Yeah, it was all. It had like the cutesy kind of like
It
Lilo
was
and
very
Stitch
really
kind
it
of
was really
graphics.
colorful. It was very colorful, like freaking like I was just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
if
couldn't
that's
tell if it was a
exactly,
children's game or not.
I don't know if it's my
but I'm
my
sure.
target demographic or not. But
Yeah, it was freaking too. It is too beautiful.
it's a little.
I have to see
little,
what it's about.
little bouncy. Yeah.
Make a good gift.
Yeah.
Probably. It seems very child friendly, to say the
Yeah.
least. So
I mean that,
You
that
know,
has
if
its
you have-
place for sure. But
if you have younger relatives, it looks like unless they pull out some random wild twist where it turns into like a horror movie, a horror game midway through.
that'd be a riot.
Yeah, seriously. And then
Traumatize how many kids?
oh man, that'd be freaking terrifying. That'd be-
ESRB rating. This can't be right. And like, whoa.
I know. It's like, how does it get an E? Like everyone's dying left and right. There's so much
Yeah.
blood. Like we slipped it in
Yeah.
halfway through the game. They
Yeah.
never made it that far.
ESRB is just like, I'm sure it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, they played the first 20 minutes. Wow, this looks great. Yeah, we're gonna put this to the side.
Yeah.
Just sneak in all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one more game. I don't remember this one. I don't recognize it at all. It says Kid Amnesia, I believe.
It's
And I'm
because
like,
you have amnesia.
That's right.
I must, because I'm like, I watched the showcase and it must have been briefly shown, but I go back and I'm like, yeah, Kid Amnesia. Okay.
I do vaguely
Or
remember
Kid
seeing like the title
Amnesia.
card or whatever.
Yeah, that's all they showed really was the title. Like they didn't really show gameplay or anything, but it looks kind of creepy in a way. So I might have to pass on it honestly, but Kid Amnesia. I don't know. Very freaking confusing. And it might wind up being one of those indie games that freaking sells like hotcakes. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that was all the whole list, actually, like from top to bottom. I'm just waiting for Spider-Man, God of War, and Wolverine. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like apprehensive about. I'm hopeful about it, but I'm not sure. It's Square Enix, so I'm trying to be like, you know, maybe it'll be good. But yeah. Oh, and
Ways.
Forspoken. Forspoken looks like it'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep half an
It's
eye
all
on
premise.
that for sure.
But I'm glad it wasn't all just remakes and remasters. I mean,
Yeah.
Uncharted for PS5, I don't feel like we needed that.
I mean, it's great
know
to
it-
get remasters.
I know
and
it
stuff,
sold
but-
so well, but I mean, did we really need a remaster of Uncharted? They already ported it from PS3 to PS4.
Yeah,
Now they're bringing it from PS4 to PS5.
but like
But
having
and
actual
PC.
new IPs, there's always room for a new good IP.
Yeah,
We don't need to
Only-
recycle old ideas till the end of time. There's
Here's-
tons of them, and I get that it's kind of easy money, but there's still room for new ideas. It hasn't all been done yet.
Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto, and Knights of the Old Republic seem like the only one. Oh, and Alan Wake. I think those are the only remakes and remasters and whatnot on there.
Well, Knights of the Old
Everything
Republic,
else.
I would give more of a pass on it
Uncharted.
since it was an 18-year-old game or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's like
Yeah,
I think
that was from 03,
20-ish
so that's
years. That's fair to re-release a game after that
Yeah.
amount of time. But
Grand Theft Auto, I completely just skipped. That's just
Don't
that was
care.
unnecessary. Like, oh, Grand Theft Auto 5 for the next generation.
well, we need to make $1.5 billion this year instead of only $1 billion. So we got
Yeah,
So
I mean,
bizarre.
only $1
It
billion.
seems
That's
like
just not
so
enough.
long ago that I finished Grand Theft Auto 5 on the 360.
I mean, it kind of probably
the-
was.
Yeah, and I lived in a different house and stuff. That was a game that was like you need to have a hard drive to play it, kind of thing. It's like put cutting edge, pushing the envelope. But now it's like whatever the opposite of cutting edge.
Yeah, you put it
Yeah.
on a floppy disk and
Like that's
Still have room.
fine.
Yeah, it's now it's just not even a cutting edge. Now it's just freaking dull. Like,
dull
It's-
blade. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's like we need something new. I mean, I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto game in like 15 years.
Vice City
I
was
like
the
in high
last
school, I
one
think,
that
when
I
finally played one.
played the campaign. I shouldn't say that. I did with San Andreas, but like I probably would have liked San Andreas, but everybody was playing it, like to the point that it made me sick of it.
I played San Andreas. I never beat it.
Looked
though. I got
good,
very
it
close,
just-
but I never finished.
Just everyone was. I'm usually not like that, but like anytime I went to someone's place, it's like San Andreas, San Andreas, San Andreas. It's like, okay, enough. Now I know how I made people play when they came over and I was playing Guitar Hero.
No, for real. But hell, I'm glad it's just, and I'm glad they finally gave a release date for Horizon Forbidden West. You know,
I missed that. When's that being released?
That was necessary. I'm fine. We got that release date just recently, I believe.
Next year?
Like last week, I think they finally announced it. Like official is February 18th.
Okay.
So another 4 or 5 months. It's not too bad.
I'm gonna want to play that too, because like I found with coming in as someone that hadn't. I don't think at that point I'd ever played an open world game. I think that was my first one. So like I definitely didn't appreciate a lot of the stuff in it, but like I was a little slow to warm up to it. But by the time I got to the DLC, I'm like, okay, they're really starting to kind of like hit their stride. I'm pretty sure the sequel's gonna they're really gonna nail it. So I want to see how that turns out. I think that could be exceptional.
Oh, I see. It might be one of those where like the first one is almost like a tech demo, and then they're like, oh, okay, this is what we can do with it. This is how we do the pacing and everything, kind of like Assassin's Creed kind of thing. Like it started with this kind of the guts of an open world, but you didn't really care about it, and it's kind of chunky.
First Assassin's Creed was like, it was like, oh, so painful to go through. But then like by the second or third one, I was kind of like, oh, this is pretty good. This is a vast improvement. That's like the last series I remember playing, or one of the most recent ones, where the first and the second had a drastic improvement. It wasn't exactly the same or worse. You know? The only other game I can think of is like Mass Effect. Jumping from 1 to 2, I was like, oh, this is like a lot better. Like overall, I just really liked it, you know? Not many games, I feel like series really do that to where they really improve upon the problems the first one had.
Right.
They kind of just do the same exact thing and just put different characters or different scenery. Oh, done. Okay.
Well, it's like, oh, we got this formula, this one game sold, so we're just going to make them the exact same till people stop caring about it, rather than trying to like innovate as you go.
Yeah, fix the bugs, fix the glitches, fix the errors, improve the resolution, improve everything. Improve as much as you can, you know, within reason. Just make it better. If the writing was the problem, fix the writing. Whatever the problem was. If it was buggy, do better with the coding and whatnot. You know, like make it actual sequel, not 1.5 or 1.2.
Don't basically be like a DLC add-on mission.
Exactly. Don't be just don't be just this is downloadable content. You could just add this right on. It would fit right there. It has to stand out in its own way.
Well, I think with that particular era, and we could do a whole podcast about this. I kind of have a theory about video game generations, and I think that it's probably not that much of a hot take. They actually happen in between the machine generations. So I think that 2005, 26, 27, 2008, that was still kind of like the Wild West for Xbox 360 and PS3 type games. And things were, still finding our feet with Assassin's Creeds and Mass Effects. Mm-hmm. But around 2009, that's kind of like this crossover period where we have, these. I think Resident Evil 5 is the perfect hybrid game of. It has these kind of weird, janky old controls. You have to stop in place to shoot, just like in Resident Evil 4. But it also has like the Gears of War-esque free movement. When you're not aiming. And so I think 2009 is right in the middle. And then by 2010, we're basically in a new generation. Like things are way more streamlined. Mass Effect 2, things just work better. None of this janky stuff. Oh, I can hide behind cover. Well, this is how novel. I don't just have to back away from enemies in order to not be shot. So I think that's when we had the big spike. But I don't think there's been a big generation shift really since then. We've been on this very kind of like
I agree,
like low moving up, which isn't bad because it's a good place, but it's not exciting, I guess you might say.
No, definitely. You mentioned 09, and it's funny because 09 is when Assassin's Creed 2 released, and that was a game that, like we just said, jumped. Like they improved the combat, they improved like the traveling, I believe, they improved the freaking like almost everything that was annoying or lackluster in part 1 was just we fixed almost all of it. We changed the characters. We made them much more interesting. We added them, and then from there they had an ongoing thing where, you played as, what was his name, Altair, or was that the first?
Yeah,
No,
Altair is the first one, and then Ezio Auditore is
Ezio.
the second one. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. You played as Ezio for 3 games in a row rather than switching characters again. His whole trilogy is the best Assassin's Creed games I've ever played. Like right there. I freaking loved them. Part 1 was like, 3 was like, I kind of was like, all right, it's cool. It's all right. After that, I kind of stopped playing Assassin's Creed. It just kind of got way too formulaic. But at first, they were doing quite good with the improvements.
Yeah. But then I think they got to like, well, people love this formula, and then that's the end.
Yeah, they found it. They put 2 out in Brotherhood and Revelations. Then they made 3, and then it's like, all right, let's kind of stick like this. But at least at first, they did make a lot of innovations. But freaking welcome Agent of Chaos. Anyone excited for the Dead Space remake?
Well, I hadn't played the original, so I'm kind of neutral. I heard it's great though. Terrifying.
Horror games are not my thing, so I passed on Dead Space. But once again, just like Alan Wake, I heard they're freaking great. Like everyone that played them is like, yeah, it's terrifying, and I'm just like, leave me out of it. But they're like, no, it's a good game too, and I'm like, I will take your word for it. I have to just believe you.
I would play Dead Space. I just haven't played Dead Space.
I believe it's getting a full-on. I think it's getting a full-on remaster, like all 3 games in the series.
Probably.
I think it's getting remastered. So, actually, let me check. Is it a remake or a remaster?
That might be time to just wait for those to come out then.
Dead Space is being remade for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Yeah, because they were initially from PS3, right, or Xbox 360. I think. I
want to say 360, but I don't know if they're on both.
Yeah, Part 1 came out in 2008. So, yeah, that's Xbox 360 and PS3. So, yeah, a remake sounds all right. That was about 13 years ago or so. Once it's like 8, 9, 10 years or more,
yeah,
I'm fine with it getting a remake.
How did we lose Demara? Oh, here he is.
Like, that's enough time to where you could remake the remake the game, and you could have improvements, because at least let it a whole new console generation.
Agreed.
Or 2. You can improve the graphics, improve load time,
right?
Get bugs and glitches and things like that.
Have the upgrade be like a very noticeable. I agree. Like have it be like every other. Like if you insist on remastering or remaking a game, do it like every other console generation rather than each one, because then you don't really. Each given upgrade isn't not as impactful.
From PS4 to PS5, it's not that noticeable. From PS3 to PS5,
oh hell yeah!
PS1 to PS2, it's noticeable. Or PS1 to PS3, it's like it's big just time. More noticeable the longer you wait and whatnot, and also how poorly or well they were done to begin with.
Right.
Then again, PS5 might A, have a long generation just because it almost hasn't really started yet, and B, maybe it hasn't even hit stride yet. Maybe in like 2025 we'll start getting like a new gen, and people will realize, oh, we can make these like procedurally generated real cities or something like that. It's like, oh, you have Animal Crossing, well, I have an entire forest, kind of thing. But yeah, I think time has to tell for that one. I'm still optimistic.
Oh man, you know what else Sony announced recently? I forgot almost. It was just earlier this year. I mean, what the hell I said this year? The beginning of this week, rather, I believe they announced something. I saw it on Twitter. They said that they're no longer going to be offering free upgrades for PS4 to PS5 games. Like the next games that come out after like these current ones that get upgrades, you're gonna have to pay. There's no more like, what game was it? Borderlands, I think, got a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5, and did Final Fantasy, that was free, right? The DLC you had to pay for, but I think the upgrade itself was free.
I think if you had bought the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think there is a free upgrade. But if you got the free one that was on PlayStation Plus one, you don't. Yeah. You have to buy it separate.
Apparently now they're making it so that you have to Sony confirms that it will be a $10 USD upgrade path for all future first-party titles from like PS4 to PS5. So no more like Borderlands or Final Fantasy VII, where it's just like, oh, let me just download the update and it's the PS5 version. Now you're gonna have to pay $10. Just like with Ghost of Tsushima, I had to pay an extra $10 to upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5 version.
I'm not sure how I feel
you
about
know,
that.
it gave me like instant fast travel and it's like haptic feedback and like some other stuff, like the graphics improved slightly and everything, the FPS, but it depends. $10 is $10, but
it's better than buying a whole new game, but like since it was free, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like I already bought the game. It's not like it's a PS5 exclusive game. So I don't feel like I should have to pay for it's basically paying for an update on something you already bought.
Yeah.
Like if my phone has an update, I don't have to pay for my updates. My updates are all free. That's the analogy I would use.
It's kind of like when EA tried to do their online pass thing, and if you bought a game used, then you have to pay $10 American to play online or get extra features or the extra things. So yeah, I don't know how much longevity this is going to have, especially if Xbox keeps giving free upgrades. So that's why even though it's the also ran a lot of these times, like the fact that it keeps pushing the envelope, and like I was talking about earlier, the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to play the Xbox Series and PC exclusive Microsoft Flight Simulator on my fuddy old Xbox Series S, but by streaming it, like that's pretty strong value. Like that's the opposite of what this $10 upgrade thing is. Yeah. So as long as you have Game Pass, you just have to have Game Pass and Gold for the rest of your life. But I was going to do that anyway, so.
Right. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5 demo? No, I didn't see that. I mean, Unreal Engine 4 has been pretty popular. 5 will be something.
No, Unreal 5, I haven't seen a demo of it, I believe, but I'll take your word for it. I believe Unreal Engine 4 has been doing good. Like, what's a game that's been using Unreal Engine
remake.
4? That uses Unreal Engine 4?
Yep.
There you go. Perfect example. Looks freaking great and plays
Kingdom
great
Hearts
already.
3, I think, also does. That's off the top of my head.
I can imagine what else. What they could do
about
5.
Kingdom Hearts 3. It looks great.
Definitely. Kingdom Hearts 3 was good. It's like really easy. Like I feel like they could have made it a little more challenging or something.
My problem with it was I had played the 1.5, 2.5 like re-release of all of the games before 3. So by the time I hit 3, I was well equipped to understand the story of Kingdom Hearts as well as I was going to, but I was kind of over Kingdom Hearts at the same time. Like if I didn't do that and just played Kingdom Hearts 3, I think I would have enjoyed the experience a lot more. But
you're burnt out.
Yeah, like I had played it for, I don't know, 3 months, because I played Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance. I watched the movie for Recoded, which I could have just skipped, and 358/2. What else did I play? A Fragmentary Passage. I think there's one I'm missing, but
there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
I didn't. Yeah,
Dream Drop Distance,
but to play them
over 2 days
in a
Birth
row.
By Sleep, Chain of Memories.
Maybe that was all of them.
There's a lot.
But yeah, I did them all in a row. It took me months, and there was a lot of it was enjoyable. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 is still my favorite. I would argue that the battle system in 2 is way better, but I just kind of liked the simplicity of 1. Like things hadn't gone too crazy yet.
Would you say that it's simple and clean?
Yeah.
Oh man, I missed that song. I haven't heard it since I played Kingdom Hearts 1, I think.
Actually, I had that in my car for a while. I actually just deleted it off, but because I noticed I was skipping it.
I love it.
But I was listening to it for a bit, and then my Sanctuary. I also really like that song.
Sanctuary is beautiful too. Wait, but no, this thing with Horizon Forbidden West. Did you guys hear about it though? The controversy that they dusted up because of it.
No.
Because they're if you go on the PlayStation Store right now, Horizon Forbidden West, the digital edition for the PS4 is regular $59.99, and the standard edition for the PS5 is $69.99. But they said that only PlayStation 5 exclusives would be $69.99. If it was going to be on both platforms, they said it would just be regular, $59.99. But they're also saying that for Horizon Forbidden West, they're going to let you upgrade to the PS5 version for free. So I'm saying,
so just buy the
it's just kind of
PS4
weird.
version then upgrade.
Yeah, that's the thing. They said since they're going to let you do it for free, why even put that PS5 version to begin with? I feel like, or why have it at that price? I mean, rather, it's just weird to me.
Seems
I don't
bizarre.
know. I buy my games physical whenever I can, so that means I'm gonna have to buy the PS4 version of the disc and then put it in and then download an update to get the PS5 version. Like, I feel like it's I feel like it's unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah, by update, it basically means you'll be getting the whole game. I think it's you just have an access key now.
It's odd. It says freaking the Horizon Forbidden West offered a total of 9 different versions of the game for pre-order with no upgrade pass forward to the PS5 in any version. This, of course, did not go down well with the fan base, and Sony was criticized heavily for it. Soon after, as detailed in the PlayStation blog post, players will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version free of charge. And I'm like, okay, so they kind of like backed down on that for Horizon Forbidden West, but now they're also like, well, we're not going to do this again. You know what I mean? And it's just like
yeah, right.
I just looked that up on the Canadian store. Yeah, $89.99.
Yeah.
Exciting times that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean,
it's a big ask for me as a Canadian. Spend $90 on a new game. There's very few games I'll be willing to do that for.
$90 here. I mean, you'd be able to get like the super deluxe edition of the game usually. Like that comes with like freaking all this merchandise and whatnot. Like it's kind of crazy. And the deluxe edition is $80 here. I'm like,
you can play it version, and you have to pay tax on the store now because ever since I think July, they so Netflix and PlayStation Store, etc., is all taxed.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Now
they started charging
YouTube.
The PlayStation Store started charging me tax like a year or two where I'm at, I think, and I got the email and I was like, no, why? That's an extra like $4 or $5 freaking dollars like every game you buy now.
Yeah.
Yep. Sucks. Now it's not even cheaper to buy it digitally, because at least it was tax free. I remember when Amazon started charging tax. At first, they weren't charging tax either, or Netflix.
I think the government was just like, "Look, boys,
I know
give us our pie.
Another way we can squeeze the civilians for their freaking
we got to
money.
embezzle more money."
Yeah.
So.
Basically, we got to do more illegal stuff with all this cash we're getting. Okay.
Yeah, I've started getting more discs and more physical things. Have you used Video Games Plus before? It's in Ontario, but they like you get points with your purchases, kind of thing. So, and they're pretty fast to mail things out. Like No More Heroes 3 came on release day, even though it was just physical mail. But then again, for me, it's only coming from like one part.
Is
it's
it like
some
a
Vaughn
rental service?
No, it's it's a video game store, but they do a lot of like niche and indie stuff. So things like Akiba's Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed was on there, and I was able to get it for physical. Stuff like that, and other kind of weird niche things that they don't have.
Oh, I still have to get the game actually.
Get it? Well, there's the remaining physical copies because they're probably not going to make any more.
Yeah, they're trying to phase that out.
I don't even know where I would.
I'll be caught dead before whenever I get a PS5, it has to have a physical. It'll drive me insane if I don't have a place to put a disc. Even if I don't buy any discs for it, not having that option would drive me nuts.
Full of the thing, yeah. Well, it's like my buddy was asking, like, I want to get my kid a video game console so he can play sports games because he realized there's no NHL on the Switch that they got him. And he's like, and there's that Kung Fu Panda game that you have as well, which I have with a PlayStation Plus game. But then I looked it up, and it's not for sale anymore on the digital stores because I presume the license for Kung Fu Panda ran out. So in order for this child to get this, he needs the disc version of a console,
Right.
then, and you might have to hunt down the old disc for it, and that's all there is to it.
Oh yeah, that's the other big problem when it
Yeah.
comes to digital only or anything like that. That license runs out,
Yep. I mean, it's
you can't play it. You can't.
Short-
I mean, you can't buy it. You can
Yeah.
still play it, but
short-term
well,
convenience, but long-term
most-
problem.
99% of the time you can still play it, but I had Risk for Xbox 360, and its license ran out on a game I purchased for like, $5, $6, $7 off my Xbox 360 when I plugged it into the internet, and now I do not have Risk factions for the Xbox 360.
I think
So,
that's just ridiculous.
That's
That's
crazy.
the thing. That's the thing that can be done. Thanks,
I don't
Hasbro.
feel like that should even be legal. Like that's
Yeah.
really like invasive.
Yeah, it'd be one thing
The
if you
hell?
deleted it and couldn't get it back, but for them to just take it off your
I know.
console is insane.
Like you plug it in, like, oh, let me get onto the internet. I have to download an update for this game, and that's like, what the hell's going on in my library?
Gotcha. Did you want to play Risk? Well, we have this new crummy version. It's like, no, I want the cat one. There's no cat in this one.
It's like, how you just want to take something back? That's why I don't like. It's like, I remember a while back, Amazon, I think it was, made there was a controversy with them because they said like, oh, well, any movies or anything like that you buy on like our website, like digitally, like, well, you don't own it. So, if we have to, just like take it off your account. And I was just like, wait, what?
Love to see
You're
that
basically
hold up in court.
Don't purchase this from you. Like, basically, that's all that says to me is don't purchase digital movies from them. I think it was another company too. I don't know if it was Apple. I really don't remember, but I feel like this happened with someone else too. And I was like, well, I'm not going to purchase digital stuff from you if you're literally telling me in advance that you might remove it.
Yeah,
if
you're
anything
gonna pay
happens.
full price for this thing for you to not own it.
Yeah, if that's the case, you better give it to me. Like,
Strange
PlayStation
times.
Plus is the kind of thing I feel like, okay, if that's the case, it's a subscription service. I'm signing up for it. I know ahead of time, if I don't continue my service, I can't still access it. But once I renew it, I can. That's fine. But I'm purchasing this specific movie or this specific game full price. It's not any kind of promotional kind of thing. I'm just purchasing it. And this is the main way that I believe over half of video games sold now are like digital or something like that. I read somewhere. Maybe it was.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
I don't know if it was
Only half?
accurate.
I'm surprised it's
I don't know
that
if it was
low.
accurate, but I read that like some months or a year ago or something like that. And I was like, that seems about right. Yeah.
A lot of people, statistics wise, a lot of people only buy like Madden every year, and the only way they do that is by going to Best Buy,
I suppose,
kind of thing.
I forgot about
or they
that
only
section.
Yeah, so
of the
so
market.
remember that we don't represent technically the larger
The
number of
masses,
gamers.
yeah,
We represent the people who probably buy the most games.
sure.
But like the people who basically subsidize all the niche stuff for us. Then so thank you, everybody's buying
Right.
NHL whatever or
trade in last year's version to get the new version, and that's kind of where video games begin and end with them.
yeah, because I feel like the consoles themselves would probably cost twice as much if they didn't have Joe Football just doing his thing this time. So good for him.
Oh yeah, I feel it. I mean, that just makes me wary of buying anything digitally. And then of course, I mean, resale value, and there's the ability to actually loan or give games to people. Like
Right.
here,
That's big.
you have fun, or gift this, take this. Okay, have fun with it. I mean, I like being able to look at my collection, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, there's
Nice,
like a certain
actually.
artistic value to having them too. It's like, look at all these games. Oh, I remember this game. I'll actually play this one. I'll hook this one up.
all of sentimentality in it. I mean, there's sentimental value there. Like, all right, that's cool. I remember that. There's memories involved with it more so than like, oh, I wanted the website and I just clicked the button. And,
Right.
You know what
Like,
I mean?
I
Like,
got it.
I had to take a store to the trip. I mean, take a trip to the store.
Yeah.
What happens in that time frame? I had to
Well,
talk to a person.
Yeah, like it's a
crazy.
whole experience. It's like, I'll admit, these days on my PS4, probably a good 90% of the games I get are digital now. It's just I don't have to leave the house. It's simple. But there's definitely the whole like I love going to flea markets and the hunt. Like even though I could go find whatever game I want on the internet, there's just something about going to a flea market, looking through this old pile like Super Nintendo games and being like, "Oh my god, I found Evo and it's like not $100." This is intense.
I know, right?
Like it's just finding some, a rare gem out in the wild. It doesn't compare.
Yeah, I do remember enjoying that kind of like bonus game in RL, if you will. Like, yeah, going to these places, especially in Toronto, you go to these kind of like really like dicey stores and like the back, it's just, ambulance going by all the time, whatever, bit of, is that firecrackers going off? Not sure. But, they've got bars on the windows and like glass cases and stuff. And I found things like Ashura's Wrath, which I was just waiting for a good price for it, and I found it cheaper on disc than it was on the thing.
Nice.
Or I found things like was Underworld, Overworld? What's the one where you're the big devil guy and you have all the minions as well? That'll come to me. Or just weird niche games. But yeah, it was always a great hunt as well. And then we don't have anything compared to Japan as well in terms of used games because used bookstores are a huge thing in Japan. And so therefore used video games kind of got a niche in there. So I had a great time hunting for like Dreamcast games in the past and stuff like that. And all this other stuff. And then when you play Akiba's Trip or when you play Persona 5 as well, there's a store based on a real life store called Super Potato, and they've got just all this old hardware, all this old SNESs and NESs or Famicoms and Super Famicoms and stuff like that, and and then there's the soundtrack of the store is like the old 8-bit type music and stuff.
Good.
And so there's this whole kind of experience of just having these old physical games and having that in collection. But I also think that if you're an otaku, you probably also don't have space for that. So, people are constantly giving it back and forth, which is nice too.
Oh yeah, like I remember because I've been to Toronto. Well, I've been to Toronto twice, but the first time I went to Toronto, I was there for, I don't know, like 5 days. And I spent most of my day, like I would wake up, there was this bar just like a block away that had a WWE pinball machine. So I would get up, have a beer, just play this pinball for a bit, but then I would just go walking around all like the used game stores and stuff. But like it was like right downtown Toronto. There was like this side street that it was almost like an everyday flea market kind of thing that was there. And when I was in there, I found Tornico: The Last Hope. It's based off of in Dragon Warrior 4 or Dragon Quest 4, where it's like Tornico Taloon, one of the characters in that game. They made like a whole separate like spin-off series with him. Like if you're familiar with the mystery dungeon genre, a Tornico game was actually the first one. So like it was on Super Famicom. But then I heard about The Last Hope for years, but that was the first time I'd ever seen it live, so I picked it up.
That's awesome.
And then there was like another, what was it? I forget the name of the store. It was like A&C or something.
Yeah, A&C Games, yeah.
Yeah. I was there, and like I saw a copy of Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn there. It was like $200. I didn't want to buy it, but like I also don't have a Saturn anymore. But like, I just remember that game from when I was like little, and my brother playing. I'm like, this game looks so cool. But I did get a Starman shirt like from Earthbound, like one of the guys that just stand there is like that. Got a shirt from that there, so. But yeah, it was a good time up there. Like that was a pretty impressive store. That A&C place it was massive.
Yeah, and anybody's in Toronto, please, go to A&C. Yeah, the new store is massive. The old store was just like this kind of like little alleyway thing, and like it was like hard to pass somebody if they're like, the waist size was just a bit too kind of thing. That's where I traded in like a bunch of old, like I had a Dreamcast arcade stick and like a Dance Dance Revolution mat. It's like I really like these, but they're just big, and I don't have any space in my life right now. And then I got Tatsunoko versus Capcom, basically for free.
Oh, nice.
For that, so I was pretty happy about. Then I traded that in later. But it's those sorts of stores. But yeah, they're a dying breed now too. Like you go into EB
Unfortunately.
Games. Sorry, GameStop now.
Yeah.
And it's a toy store,
Yeah.
which is like good because I like toys sometimes, but that's not the reason I should be at EB Games. Sorry, I
Right.
mean GameStop now.
Oh, it's like those places just make my stomach turn. Like there's a local one to me called GameZilla. It used to, like, if you wanted to, like, the internet still existed, but like if you wanted anything, pretty much, like they had all kinds of like rare stuff, but it was pricey, but it wasn't like $100 plus pricey. Like it was still kind of, used games hadn't gone like through the moon quite yet. That's where I got my original copy of Breath of Fire 1 for the Super Nintendo. That like at the time that was like the holy grail of my collection to try to find it, and I just never could. Then I saw it and I'm like, $50, give it to me. But now it's like you're hard pressed to find a game there. It's mostly just either like they have a lot of memorabilia, like wallets, keychains, plushies, action figures. Like they might have like some Warhammer stuff.
People buy, yeah.
Like board games, Magic cards, comic books, but there maybe like 30 games in the store, video games.
Huh. That's disappointing.
It's like why is there none? Like I understand that these other things is what you make your money off of. That's not my issue. My issue is I still want to go browse Super Nintendo games and maybe be like, well, it's today of the day, I'm going to buy Harvest Moon. But it's like I can't even go do that. Like if I want a rare game, I'm pretty much forced to go online now.
I wonder if a lot of these are just people's collections, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to sell the things I have now, and once they sell their games, they're like, that's the end of the games. That's why ANC is good, because they actually, like buy
actually
stuff.
A company rather than cleaning out their attic.
A guy, yeah. Does New Jersey have those sorts of stores here and there in this or that city?
A few. Actually, there's one like not far from me at all. I don't know if they're still open though, because I haven't been there in a few years. But it's basically similar to what you guys were saying. They have all these old games from like freaking Super Nintendo and 64, all like the retro games and all that stuff. I remember one day I remember years ago I went there like with my mother, because I remember she used to play games like on the Atari or whatever. And she was like, oh, like, oh, look. And we drove by. She's like, oh, let's see. I was like, yeah, why not? And I was like, yeah, remember that? Like Super Nintendo. I was like a baby, like, you know what I mean? And she was looking at the old like Sega games from like, I don't know, was it the Saturn or Genesis or
Master System?
Or one of those two, like,
Master System.
That was
Genesis.
real, like, young.
Probably Genesis.
They had all the old consoles. I don't know if they're still open though, but I do remember that it's like a few minutes away from me, and I kind of was like thinking about going back there. I've only been there like maybe 2 or 3 times, but it was pretty cool. I like that they had all the retro stuff, I remember the most recent time I went there, technically, it was funny. I went there to sell. I met someone outside of the store to sell them a game. Like, they were like, yeah, do you know, like, they was like, we were supposed to meet up, and they was like, oh, where do you want to meet up? I was like, they were like, do you know that store that sells the games? I was like, yeah, I do. They're like, I'll meet you right outside it. I was like, I'm meeting them outside a video game store to sell them.
Undercut the store.
It
just
felt so ironic. I was just like, I should actually go in there and shop one day, like, instead of just meet people like right outside.
It's interesting too. Like I once I got vaccinated and stuff, we was finally able to do a little trip around Ontario, and we went up north to a place called Sault Ste. Marie, which is a bit remote if you're from near Toronto. And as part of my itinerary, I just looked up indie game stores in there, and just seeing their like old stuff and ancient video game magazines and things like that, and all the old kind of memorabilia. It's like just a good way to kind of connect with kind of who's there and what's around, and find people to talk to and stuff. So it's a good kind of little hub wherever you go, it seems. Well, if the city's big enough, or you're lucky.
I feel like we need more indie or like mom and pop stores. I guess
I just
like
wish they were
sales, especially
sustainable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They really should be, but a lot of the times they're just not.
Well, that's
and
why
with the pandemic, look how many stores closed.
Right.
You know?
Well, like even before that, like that's like GameStop was already like half plushies, half like used games. Like they make nothing
they've
on
already
new
basically
games.
finished.
They make like a
Yeah.
comically small amount of money off of a new game, like $5 off of like a $90 game, $80. Like they make all their
Which
money
is-
on used stuff and memorabilia.
Well, I mean, they say that, but it's crazy then that this kind of whatever it's called, Video Games Plus site, that they can like do bonuses and offers and basically sell things at cost or and still do free shipping. So, is EV Games overhead just insane, or like what are you
Maybe.
doing? Like it's weird, is what it is. But I'm not a business knowing man, so
Me
I
neither.
couldn't really tell you. Yeah, I just want to play some games.
Yeah. Remember Play
not-
and
I
Trade?
think
I don't
it's-
know what that is. Play and
Oh
Trade?
no, Play and Trade was a store. Play and Trade is a store. I don't know how many they have, but it is in the U.S. I remember Play and Trade. That's another video game store that wasn't too far from me. I used to go there a few times, like when I was younger, and they had. It was weird because at least the one by me, it was like a freaking store inside of like this other store. Like we used to have. I don't know if they had them over there, but we had Blockbuster, but also to rent games, we had a store called Hollywood Video where they rent. It was just like Blockbuster. They rented out video games and they rented out movies, like on two different sides.
Okay.
And then inside Hollywood Video, the store, we had a Play and Trade, and it was like where you could actually just buy games. And I was
Okay.
just like, wait, what? I was like, it's like a smaller section of the store, and I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't know if that was like common, but.
I don't
You
think
know,
I
they actually
understood this
sold
correctly. Did you say that there was a Play and Trade inside of a Hollywood Video inside of a Blockbuster? Did I understand that correctly?
Oh, it wasn't inside Blockbuster.
Okay.
They're two separate stores.
Yo, dog, I hear you like stores, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Oh man, no, but I miss being able to go to, like, actually, yeah, Play and Trade. The one by me closed, but we still have them in the country apparently. Like,
Okay.
There's
I
one
looked it up.
somewhere that's not a franchise anymore. It's just
it says as of 2013 there was 116 still open, and I'm kind of like
kind
2013.
of a lot.
The one here closed like 5 or 6 years ago, so I don't know how many open now.
13's optimistic.
Bunch of them closed down. I mean, how many of these indie like kind of stores can really exist, especially when it comes to video games? I just read a title of an
Yeah.
article
As
the other
well.
day,
Yeah.
or earlier. They said that GameStop is no longer going to be focused on video gaming. They're now going to be a technology company. And I was just
I'll
like,
get out of here.
how?
Stop then.
I was like, what does that
Oh.
even mean? Like, what do you mean you're going to be a technology company?
Just let Best
They're gonna be the
Buy
next
purchase you and be done with it then. Just hang it up.
What do you like? That's
Well, I
their
think-
whole thing.
As long as Funko Pops are technology, then I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Then
I'm like, how are you a technology company? You're going to stop selling games and start selling what? Apps? Like,
How
I don't
am I
even
supposed to
know
get
where.
my Kirby plushies now? GameStop.
All
I
they
do
sell
place
is
to get my Pokemon promo cards. That's vital. Depending on what year it is.
all they sell are games and then merchandise for said games, like the Pokemon stuff and the
Yeah.
freaking like everything else. Zelda backpack and freaking
Yeah.
like, all that. Like, I'm like,
Well-
so now you're a
well-
technology company? Okay.
Well, I need them. I need them because anything that's a Walgreens exclusives in America for Transformers becomes a EB Games / GameStop exclusive for Canada. So, without that venue, I don't know. They'd have to open Walgreens here. I think that's what would have to happen.
Yeah.
It's growing its product catalog in areas like consumer electronics, collectibles, toys, and other categories that make sense for their business. They're also looking to expand their
PCs.
fulfillment operations to help speed up delivery.
Hmm.
I'm like, wait, how are you?
Well, their website has been better,
I'm like, what?
actually. Like ordering stuff, Transformers from GameStop has been more of a thing lately, and it's been their website used to be terrible, and now it's, I don't want to say good, but
Less terrible.
not bad, I guess. Oh, yeah. Strong C-. I'm gonna say.
Wow, this is funny. I just read a comment on their site. They just said, "Please tell me they're rebranding themselves to just stop."
See, that's what I said. That's
Yeah.
well, it's
They're removing the game. Not
Yeah.
Let's just stop now.
Just
I'm going to
stop, yeah.
stop. Please do.
Yeah, please do that.
It's actually kind of weird. It's weird that the Canadian one had its own name and the Australian one for so long. Like EB Games used to be Electronics Boutique,
Right.
but the EB just meant nothing for a decade and a half. So like there was a GameStop in like right downtown Toronto, probably for tourists or whatever. But now they're going to be all GameStop now.
Yeah, the EB Games turned into GameStop, right? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Well, they were always like their receipt was like the GameStop paper. Even a lot of the times, it was the
Yeah, I
same,
feel like
same
I'm too
thing.
young to remember EB Games.
But I'm not sure EB Games was ever in America.
I think it. I mean, it says it's an American company when I looked it up.
I was under the
Okay,
impression
like-
it was, but I don't know for sure.
I don't even know, but maybe they just changed titles in one country. Like,
it was
That's possible.
Babbage's.
I've heard of Babbage's.
I never heard of that.
Why have I heard
I
of
definitely
Babbage's?
bought because that's what Electronic Boutique was before. You had a Babbage's at the mall, I'm sure.
Oh, I probably.
Yeah, I definitely bought my first full-priced PC game at a Babbage's. It was TIE Fighter, and that was serious business.
I can't imagine a store called Babbage's for games. Like, it sounds like too much like cabbage.
I'm sure it's just like, well, I'm Peter Babbage, and this is
Right.
Babbage's store, and
Yeah.
that's just the way you made things.
Oh,
It's
wait.
like it's like McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Babbage's was first. It says it says GameStop was formerly Babbage's from 1984 to 1999.
There you go.
That explains it.
Yeah.
I started going to GameStop probably when I was like 11, 12 or something like that.
Yeah, her.
That's
Yeah.
when I remember them like popping up everywhere. I was like in middle school.
And then a little later, closing everywhere because that was too many.
Yeah, my city has like, or it used to have like, we have 2 GameStops and it's not even a big city I'm in. I don't understand the point. We don't need 2. We barely need 1. Like, I think there used to be another one too, actually. It's like, what's the purpose? Like, there's like 20 GameStops within like 10 miles or less from me. And I visited them all. Like when I used to pick up Vita games, they were so sparse and hard to find. I would have to drive down.
Yeah.
I would have to call or check online every GameStop within a freaking 20-mile radius or 15-mile radius and be like, do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? And I'd be making these trips. That's like we talked about the experience of like buying a game physically. Is like when it's a rare game, it's hard to find. You gotta put in some effort. You gotta call around. You gotta ask people. You gotta freaking check their different websites like just to find the damn thing. And like it's like planning.
Maybe get it.
It's like, oh geez. Now you can just be like, all right, cool. All right, credit card information. I have it now.
Do you recognize my voice yet? That kind of thing.
Oh man.
Me again.
Like, yeah, do you have this game yet? I remember, and like games getting leaked early or released early because like some mom and pop stores they're just like put it out on the shelf early and like start selling it. Break street release. I remember calling around for this one game in particular like years ago. I heard they were like breaking street dates like all over, and I was just like, crap. Let me see like any of these mom and pop stores like they're gonna sell it to me real quick. I kept asking. I called around like everywhere like, hey, do you have the game in yet? Like, they're like, no. And I was like, oh, you sure? I mean, like, I'll come buy it right now. I mean,
I'll be your friend.
yeah, like, hey, don't gotta tell anybody. Just, just sell me a copy, like a little early.
Yeah, I've had a few things where it's like, I can do this, but don't tweet about it or anything. Like,
yeah, it's like, I won't tell anybody. Just let me have it. I can't wait the extra 4 days. Like, come on, man. I'm addicted.
See, I remember seeing, I remember Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. They put it out early by accident. And I was like, I would like to buy this. I'm pretty sure I can't buy this. And it's like, no, I'm sure you can buy this. Beep. Oh, no, you can't buy this. Somebody put it out by accident. It's like, okay.
Oh, man, I hate it. That's horrible. It's like, yes, I see it. Oh, nope. Can't do it. It's like, oh, damn, okay. Oh, man. Oh, freaking hell. Agent of Chaos says, I personally buy digital only for convenience sake. I'm always flying between the states and I never leave my console, but traveling with 100 discs became a large inconvenience. Yeah, I
could
mean,
see
hell,
that.
I have
Big
100.
time.
I have 100 discs. I mean, when I travel, I take like a few, and then I'm just glad that I have a collection of physical and a collection of digital. So if I have to travel, I just like plan to like play my digital games if I can until I get
Right.
back to like home base, where I
Yeah.
have all of them available, That's why PlayStation Plus is useful for a time because hell, you can
Yeah,
delete
the
them,
digital games.
get back to them and all that stuff and not have to have like the physical copy. Or just get one of those. I mean, the only problem with disc is that they could get scratched and kind of break. But besides
Yeah.
that,
I've damaged a disc when transporting a bunch because it's like, oh, let's check out my games, and it's like, oh, better be careful with this one. Well, sorry to have joined late, but it's getting about midnight time now, so I think I need to depart.
Yeah,
But,
no worries. We
yeah,
should
this is
probably
good.
get wrapping up anyway.
yeah, we're about to wrap too. It's been like 2 hours on the dot, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, freaking that was every game from the PlayStation 5 showcase.
Yeah.
Most of them are all new IPs, which is great. I freaking love that
Yeah, it's
fact.
kind of.
Looking
I'm
forward to
definitely
for the-
ready for some new IPs. Like I love the classics,
definitely.
but I don't mind something new.
And
Yeah,
but you still
yeah,
buy a
yeah,
new River City ransom game, though, right?
Oh yeah, I still have that up in the Steam store. I'm probably gonna buy that on Switch like either tonight or tomorrow. Like I'm probably gonna stream it this week now. Now that I know it's a thing, so thank you for that. Because I would have never heard about it. I would have like 5 years later. I've been like, what?
Like, where was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man,
Well,
definitely.
Well, thanks for having me on
Yeah.
the show.
Always a pleasure.
Again.
Come back anytime.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh my god, this video games is the topic. Video games the life.
Oh yeah.
It's a good life. Good life. All right, I have
Right.
to sign off now, but
No
have a good one.
worries.
All
You
right,
too,
man.
Noara. Thanks
Take
for
care.
stopping in.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you have coming up next, Harv, as far as like streaming and what you're going to be like
Well,
playing?
like,
putting up
well,
on YouTube?
I'm definitely gonna try to shoehorn in that Jay and Silent Bob game. Like Sunday, I'm probably gonna finish up what I want to do with Nier Automata. Then I'm probably gonna try that Jay and Silent Bob game. But then when I'm done that, I'm gonna be playing through all the Mega Man games again, but with using a Guitar Hero controller challenge. And then after that, I'm gonna go into Final Fantasy 14 and probably become a Final Fantasy 14 streamer.
Oh man, a final. Oh, you're going to be playing.
Because
That's
like
on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, right? Or no? I forgot.
I think it's on pretty much everything, not Switch, but I'm getting it on PS4.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, it's available on basically every console except the Switch, I believe.
But like I put up a vote on my community poll, and I'm like, what game do you want me to play? It was like Final Fantasy 14, Yakuza, Mass Effect, BioShock, and The Last of Us, and Final Fantasy 14 won by a landslide.
Oh, really?
So I'm gonna go by that. BioShock was second. Mass Effect was actually dead last. I was surprised.
Wow. Okay.
Like I
And you
mean,
said you
something
put that
had
poll
to
up on your.
something had to be last. But sorry.
You said you put that poll up. You said on YouTube. You put it up.
Yeah, like
your channel?
I made
Or
like
Twitter?
a community post on YouTube and just was like, here,
Ah.
because I did like a channel update video and I was like, hey, what games do you want me to play in the future? And I just kind of picked the 5 that like someone would suggest and get the most votes, or I was like, I would play this. And then no, Final Fantasy 14 ahead by like, I don't know, 30 votes, followed by BioShock. So I think I'll like it. It's just
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna play it at least until the trial's over, and then decide if I want to keep at it or not at that point. Because you can play for
Yeah.
free up to
I
level
read that it
60
has
or
a free
something.
trial. Actually.
Sorry, it's quite a large.
Yeah. No.
trial.
Yeah. What's the max level on a game? I never played it before.
I'm not sure. I want to say around level 80 right now.
Oh, okay. So that's a pretty substantial like free trial. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It used to be less than 60, but I think they bumped it up recently. But I'll be busy for a while with that, I imagine. I've had people, like viewers, want me to play it for some time, so when I play it, I think there will be no shortage of people that'll want to like come along for like raids and stuff whenever I hit that part. So
Yeah, that's another use. That's another that's another useful way. Like interact with your viewers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your stream your viewers on whether it's Twitch or YouTube, or anywhere else you stream. Like if you're playing something online, there you go. You got people to raid with now. You know what I mean?
Join on in, yeah, because it's not like
Kill two birds with one
it's
stone.
not like a Dark Souls where you're realistically expected to do these bosses multiplayer, but it's kind of like almost a streamer rite of passage to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this by myself. But like, whereas in Final Fantasy, like any kind of MMO, you're not really expected to beat them solo.
Yeah, it's like the idea is to play with somebody else. And if you don't have someone to play with, then it's not nearly as engaging or as fun, That's why certain games I never got into or I stopped, is because I'm like, honestly, I don't really have anyone to play with at the moment that's interested in it. It's always, I'm not interested in it and they are, or they are and I'm not.
Right.
And it's just like, finding a mutual, genuine interest, and then having the same schedules.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes it's a lot of more effort than it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you do have it, and it meshes, it's freaking great. That's some of the best times, like playing video games. Like, playing raids on Destiny 1 was freaking great. I'd be up all night, like, oh, we're finally gonna do it. When you finally get through it, it's like, oh, freaking hell, like sigh of relief.
Well, you can obviously you can play games solo, and there's certainly a place for that. Like video games as a whole are really meant to be like a social thing. Like, I get so much more out of playing, like, a single-player experience on a stream than I do just by myself. Like, you at least want... Like, for me, ideally, I want to be playing a game and at least have, like, one other person watching me, and then we can have, like, a dialogue about it. Rather than me just kind of experiencing a game and it just sort of, like, goes into the ethers.
There's a discussion to be had, and there's, like, a level of emotion to be shared, whether that's, like, a horror game where fearful, or it's like very happy, or it's like so emotional it makes you want to cry, or it's just really funny and you just share a laugh. It's like there's that shared feeling of to a certain extent,
and there's those moments where it's like I'll be familiar with the game, but I'll watch someone else playing and I'm like, I know this thing's is coming up, I can't wait to see how this person's gonna deal with it.
I know, right? You want to see someone's reaction to it,
because there's sometimes it's like
you were acting the same way I did.
Yeah. Crazy. Or it's like I was stuck on this boss for 3 hours, and then someone like beats it first try, and you're like, I didn't even think to do that thing you did that just trivialized the boss fight. Damn you! So it's like,
and that's the other aspect. You could learn from them, from watching them play, or vice versa. They learn from you. That's another thing that is so much more better. Like, let me see you do it rather than you just explain it like through text or something.
Right?
It's much more visual. Learning process and whatnot, and it's much more joyous experience.
Yeah. But what do you got coming up?
It's good. I think tomorrow and whatnot, I'm going to finish streaming Scarlet Nexus. I'm 3 trophies away from getting the platinum.
Okay.
And I'm going to get 2 of those next time I stream. I just have to finish the story, which I'm very close to doing. I'm on the last chapter now, basically.
All right.
As far as getting the platinum, though, one of the trophies involves having to unlock every skill on the skill tree, which requires way too much leveling up. It's
gotcha.
A freaking combat is nice, but you level up so slow. Like once you hit a certain level, it's just it's not.
I'm guessing you hit max level, and it's like, why did I even bother? Like the game's plenty beatable, not at max level.
Yeah, and you're not even really overpowered. Like if you do New Game Plus and let's say I'm level 50 and the enemy's level 1, you're still not crazy overpowered to where it's like, oh, I'm one hitting them. They're still the bosses are still challenging to a certain extent. It's it's not like you're super crazy strong or anything like that.
It's more about your own skill rather than stats.
Yeah, it's more about okay, am I doing this, fighting this correctly or not correctly, but am I fighting this efficiently?
Yeah.
It's not about really too much level, but to get you only need a level for skills. That's it. To unlock all the skills, so you have everything at your
disposal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm going to finish. I'm not going to stream myself getting the platinum because that's way too much grinding. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to spread it out over a course. So once I just finish the game completely, I'm just going to start streaming Mass Effect 3. It's funny you mentioned it because Mass Effect because I was in the middle of streaming Mass Effect 3 and I stopped to stream Scarlet Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back to streaming that, I think, because I streamed 1 and I streamed 2. So, I mean, I might as well finish it up and stream 3. I'm already like a quarter or so away through the game and whatnot.
Come this far,
so I'm going to just go ahead and finish that. I've beat it before, so it's not like it's going to take me that long to finish it again. It's just really, since I'm doing all the DLC that came with the game, that's what's being time consuming. But the main story, I'm gonna blow through that again, I'm sure. After that, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna stream next. But also, I'm playing Bravely Default 2 on my Switch. I play that like in between downtimes and whatnot. I don't stream that, but I'm just playing that on the side. Like Bravely Default's freaking always a great game.
I need to play any of those.
And then of course, definitely play all of them. Like the first 2 were on the DS, the 3DS rather. This new one is separate from those.
Yeah.
It's separate from those.
Because that screwed me up, because it's like Bravely Default, then like Bravely Default Chapter 2 or something, and then Bravely Default 2. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's Bravely Second.
Yes.
I don't know
why,
but I'm like Bravely Default, Bravely Second, and then Bravely Default 2. I'm just like, why did they do that? Because Bravely Default 2 doesn't continue from Bravely Default 1. It's really weird. You mean
weird. Bravely Second or whatever? Doesn't continue from
Bravely
1?
Second. No, Bravely Second continues from Bravely Default.
Okay.
But Bravely Default 2 doesn't continue from either of those.
That's weird.
So it's
so does that
weird. I mean, unless later on in the game they're going to break something new, but so far there's no semblance of like a continuing story.
Makes
all
me
new characters, all new places.
Making me wonder if they're going to want to go like Bravely Third. Like if they would even want to do that.
They could have just called it something else,
And just try to continue the original
I thought it was
story.
going to be Bravely Third. That's what everyone was thinking. Like, Bravely Third. And then they just came out with Bravely Default 2. It's still a good game. It's just a lot different, like as far as the characters and the plot and all that stuff.
Okay.
But it's still similar every other way. It's like a Final Fantasy game, like as far as the combat and things of that nature.
They try to make it fresh.
But no, it's definitely good. No, yeah, for sure. But besides that, it's always like working on new videos. I'm going to get back into. I've been busy for a little while, but now it's time to get back into it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, where can they find you at? Like, YouTube and, TikTok or wherever else you're posting videos.
Mm.
Like Twitter, Mega Harv everywhere, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I was saying like before I don't want to drag this on super long, but like I had just recently got kind of annoyed with YouTube again. So I uploaded one of my short videos to TikTok that got like 100 views on YouTube, but on TikTok it got 74,000 views. So here I am I'm sitting here thinking like, seems like my YouTube channel, like I don't want to say like dying is accurate, but it's like it doesn't seem to be doing as well as I had hoped. And when that happens, it's easy to just be like, well, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right. But then I just upload to a different platform and I get a bonkers amount of views over there. So it's like, okay, so I guess I'm not the problem here. Like, that's just how I interpret that. If I get 100 views on one website, but 74,000 on another website, I don't feel like I'm the problem.
No, that literally is exactly what I was trying to say. And like one of the videos I made a few months ago about, I made a video like saying like some of the questions you should ask yourself before you start posting content on different websites. One of the big questions I was telling people to ask yourself like where you're going to post your stuff. Where are you going to post your videos, your music, your tutorials, whatever you're making? Where are you going to post it at? Because you want to have your audience in the right, like you want to go to the right place rather for your target audience.
Yes.
Like YouTube might not work for this, but it'll work for that. And then Twitter works for this, Instagram works for that, TikTok works for this, Twitch works for that. They all have like different audiences and some of them intersect, but a lot of different people everywhere. So you got to know. It's hard to find out sometimes. Right. It's not always like in your face, like, oh, this should be here. But once you find out that key, like what belongs where, I feel like it gets much easier, and it's much less stressful.
Well, and then like if you can build an audience on like multiple platforms, then you can start to like mix them up a little bit, because it's like, you post stuff over here too. Because if say someone on TikTok that saw that like Woodman video, it's like, what do you mean he's already done all these videos on YouTube? I'm gonna go binge over there. Like there's there's like
yeah,
that
if
possibility.
really liked that one here, they can find all the rest
Yeah.
here, and then there's that intersection or that that
Yeah, so
crossing,
long as
and then they go everywhere.
they
and
know. But like, which
Yeah.
I
No, that's
didn't
why you gotta
exactly
share
beat that over anyone's head, but I just have in my TikTok and
Oh,
like intro that's like, I'm a YouTuber doing TikTok stuff. So like that
Yeah.
much is out there,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of exciting again because
No, that's the goal. Like that's why.
like I've been on YouTube for 11 years. Like I had like my one short video blow up, but like outside of that, my most watched video has 17,000 views. And this other video I uploaded a week ago, it has 70,000. So it's like it's orders of magnitude more exciting to get that kind of reaction on a video. So it kind of makes you
No,
rethink
definitely.
your whole game plan. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's
right
why I said like you have like a similar. It's like Mega Horror on TikTok as well, right? So
Yep.
they can check it out there as well, and then come back to Mega Horror on YouTube and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Like
And,
if it's not Mega Harv, it's Omega Harv. Like if Mega Harv happens to be taken, which it very rarely
Omega,
is.
like
Usually by someone named Megan Harvey
okay.
is usually who has Mega Harv.
and Megan Harvey.
Yeah.
Oh no, man, I feel you. But yeah, freaking
That's where I'm
yeah,
at.
guys, this is the PlayStation 5 showcase for the most part, with
Yeah.
some random other topics thrown in,
Oh yeah.
as we tend to do.
Yep.
But as always, you can find Harv on Mega Harv pretty much everywhere, or like he said, if it's not Mega Harv, it's Omega Harv.
Right.
Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You can find me
All over the place.
same places, not TikTok, but YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and so forth. Enigmatic Entertainment, pretty much everywhere. Sometimes a dash in between there, or underscore, or whatever, if it's taken and whatnot. But you go one place, it's linked to all the other ones. So whichever one you find,
Yeah.
go follow and subscribe everywhere else, and you can be up to date with everything I'm doing. You can be up to date with everything Harvey's doing.
Hell yeah.
And if you haven't done it already, you can't forget to subscribe to the Serenial channel as a whole for the whole group.
Right.
So you can catch, obviously, the podcast
yeah.
as usual every Friday nights.
Yeah. And
Unless something happens, then,
Yeah.
it's out of our. But hey.
And I'm only bringing this up because I remembered now, but I haven't actually dabbled in it. But Serenial has a Minecraft server somewhere. I was supposed to like put the link to that in the description somewhere, but I could try to do that for next week. So I don't know if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you're into Minecraft, there's a whole Minecraft server that you could check out and freaking come and play with some other people and whatnot, Like,
I think
whatever
eventually
floats your
they'll
boat.
manage to talk me into
Got it.
to doing some stuff over there, but kicking and screaming they'll attempt for me to do that. But I mean, I would again, it might be like what I was saying about like battle royales. Like maybe my problem is I need to actually like play it with a group of people. Then I might enjoy it.
Hey, that might definitely work for you. I mean, being with a group of people can help. It definitely can help with
Yeah.
some things that you don't find typically like up your alley or,
Yeah.
in your normal repertoire.
Right. I think that's pretty well everything I wanted to touch on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And as always, guys, like I said, Friday nights, usually somewhere around like 8 p.m. or so, like Eastern Standard Time. That's the
Mhm.
East Coast. 7 p.m. Central. Catch us live always. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And like I said, subscribe and follow everyone, everywhere.
Yeah.
For the Podcast.